Sirach chapter 0. Many and great to us through the law and the prophets, and of the other things that followed them. Wherefore it is proper to praise Israel of discipline and wisdom, and as not only those who read ought to become scholars, but even to those who are not able to learn are useful, and saying and writing, My grandfather Jesus give himself more than, and in the law of the law, and of the prophets, and the reading of the other books of the fatherland. And yet he took good care of it, and he was brought forth to write what things that belong unto education and wisdom. As the studious also become guilty of them, much more will they be made up by the living of the law. Therefore be called, with favor and consideration, to make the reading, and he hath forgiveness. Wherefore we shall think, of those who have labored according to the interpretation of the words they are unable to. For it is not equal. These things are spoken in themselves Hebrews, even when they are translated into another language. But not only these things, but also this law and the prophecies, and the rest of the books. There is no small difference in themselves, which is said. For in the 8th and 30th year of the reign of benefactor the king, thou hast been brought into Egypt, and hast synchronized, finding not a little discipline in the same way. It was very necessary for him also to take some diligence to read the Bible, much watchfulness and wisdom offering up, in the space of time, to the end of the book to be published, and to them that are willing to learn in the sojourn. Morals being prefabricated, to live by law. Chapter 1. All wisdom of the Lord, and with him is forever. The sand of the seas and the drops of eggs and the days of ever shall he number. The height of the heavens and the breadth of the earth, and the abyss and wisdom shall he unravel. Wisdom and understanding of understanding were created before all things. A root of wisdom which hath been revealed, and whose cunning meals I have known. There is one wise man who sits on his throne. The Lord himself created it, and saw it, and dried it up, and poured it out on all his works, with all flesh according to his gift, and he gave it to them that love him. The fear of the Lord, glory and boast and gladness, and a crown of gladness. The fear of the Lord shall delight the heart, and give gladness and joy and longing. He that feareth the Lord shall be at the end, and shall be blessed in the day of his death. The beginning of wisdom was to fear the Lord, and to be united with the faithful in the womb. With men he hath set forth the foundation of an age, and with their seed he shall trust. The fullness of wisdom feareth the Lord, and makes them drunk of the fruits thereof. Thou shalt fill all their house with lusts, and the receipts of her offspring. Crown of wisdom, fear of the Lord, replacement, peace, and health of healing. And he saw, and hath dried it up, and hath dried it up in science, and in the knowledge of understanding, and hath exalted the glory of those who hold it. A root of wisdom to fear the Lord, and the branches thereof long. For the wrath of his wrath cannot be justified, for the wrath of his wrath falls unto him. For a time he shall endure long suffering, and afterward he shall rejoice. As long as he shall hide his words, and the lips of many he shall declare his understanding. In the treasures of wisdom are parables of science, and godliness is an abomination to a sinner. Desiring wisdom, keep the commandments, and the Lord will grant it unto thee. For wisdom and discipline is the fear of the Lord, and his goodwill is faith and meekness. Thou shalt not be disobedient to the fear of the Lord, neither come unto him with a double heart. Thou shalt not be hypocritical in the mouths of men, and in thy lips. Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor unto thy soul. And the Lord shall reveal thy secrets, and in the midst of the synagogue shall bring thee down. For thou hast not come in fear of the Lord, and thy heart is full of deceit. Chapter 2. If a child cometh to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Make thy heart straight, and be patient, and hasten not in the time of induction. Clinging unto him, and depart not, that thou mayest be increased upon thy ends. Whatever shall come unto thee, receive, and in the change of thy humility, endure long. For gold is tried in fire, and men are received into the furnace of humility. Believe in him, and perceive thy ways, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and do not bow down, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your wages are not to blame. Ye that fear the Lord, hope in good things, and in the gladness of ever, and in mercy. Look to the generations of old, and see who believed in the Lord, and was ashamed, or who endured in his fear, and was abandoned, or who called upon him, and saw him. For the Lord is merciful and merciful, and forgives sin, and saves in times of tribulation. Woe to cowardly hearts, and to open hands, and to a sinner walking on two paths. Woe to the heart that is overwhelmed, for it believeth not, therefore it shall not be covered. Woe unto you that lose patience, and what shall ye do when the Lord visiteth? They that fear the Lord shall not disobey his words, and they that love him shall keep his ways. They that fear the Lord shall seek his good pleasure, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord shall prepare their hearts, and humble their souls before him. We enter into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men, for as his majesty is, so also is his mercy. Chapter 3. Hear of my Father, children, and so do ye, that ye may be saved. For the Lord hath glorified the Father over children, and the judgment of the mother hath established unto the sons. He that honoureth the father is atoned forth sin. And as he that hoardeth, that glorifies his mother, he that honoureth the father shall rejoice with his children, and in the day of his prayer he shall be heard. He that glorifies the father shall endure long, and he that heareth the Lord shall give rest to his mother. And as a master he shall serve in them that bear him. Honour thy father in deed and word, that a blessing may come unto thee from him. For the blessing of the father upholds the houses of children, but the mother teareth up the foundations. Glorify not in the dishonour of thy father, for the glory of thy father is not the glory of the father, the dishonour of thee. For the glory of a man is of the honour of his father, and the reproach of children is a mother in inglory. Receive a child in thy father's old age, and grieve him not in his life. And if he lose understanding, be forgiven, and dishonour him not with all thy might. For the father's almsgiving shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins shall be rebuilt unto thee. In the day of thy tribulation thou shalt remember thy as a dew in frost, so shall thy sins be dissolved. As a blasphemer is he that forsaketh a father, and cursed by the Lord that angers his mother. A child in meekness do thy works, and thou shalt be loved by a man acceptable. As great as thou art thou, humble thyself, and find favour with the Lord. For great is the kingdom of the Lord, even by the lowly. Seek not harder for thee, nor examine thee more mightily. Whatsoever is commanded unto thee, these things of the mind are not unto thee the need of secrets. In most of thy works be no more anxious, for the understanding of men hath been shown unto thee. For many have been deceived by their repentance, and evil vices have slipped into their minds. A hard heart shall be wounded at last, and he that loveth danger shall perish in him. A hard heart shall be burdened with pains, and the sinner shall add sin to his sins. To induce a proud man is not a cure, for he has rooted a plant of wickedness in him. A prudent heart shall conceive of a parable, and a wise one shall conceive of a hearer's desire. A burning fire shall quench water, and alms shall atone for sin. He that repayeth graces shall be remembered in the things that are hereafter, and in the time of his fall he shall find support. Chapter 4. A child thou shalt not deprive the life of the poor, neither shalt thou delay the eyes of the poor. Thou shalt not grieve a hungry soul, neither shalt thou anger a man in his trouble. Thou shalt not shake a wrathful heart, neither haste thou hast delayed the gift of binding. Thou supplicant that afflicts thou shalt not return, neither turn away thy face from the poor. From supplication thou shalt not turn away an eye, neither give a man a place to curse thee. For when he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, he that hath made him shall hear his supplication. Make thyself a dear synagogue, and magnify thy head. Cry out thy ear to the poor, and answer him peacefully in meekness. Thou shalt be brought forth wronged by the hand of the wrongdoer, and thou shalt not be faint in judging thee. Thou shalt be fatherless as a father, and instead of a husband to their mother, and thou shalt be as the Son of the Most High, and shall love thee rather than thy mother. Wisdom hath lifted up her sons, and takes care of them that seek her. He that loveth it loveth life, and they that stand upright unto it shall be filled with gladness. He that holds her shall inherit glory, and the Lord blesseth him into it. And they that worship her shall be a holy man, and they that love her, the Lord loves her. He that obeys her judgeth nations, and he that heareth upon her shall encamp with confidence. If he trusteth it, he shall inherit it, and his generations shall be in seizure. For she shall walk with him perversely, at first fear and cowardice, and shall torment him in her discipline, until she shall trust in his soul, and tempt him in her righteousness. And again she shall return directly unto him, and shall rejoice him, and reveal unto him her secrets. If he be deceived, he will forsake him, and deliver him into his fallen hands. Preserve time, and keep from evil, and be not ashamed of thy soul. For there is shame in sin, and shame is glory and grace. Thou shalt not cast a face against thy soul, neither be ashamed of thy fall. Thou shalt not hinder a word in a time of need, for wisdom and discipline shall be known in the word of a tongue. Do not contradict the truth, and be ashamed of thy ignorance. Thou shalt not be ashamed to confess thy sins, and hasten not the river. And thou shalt not put thyself in the face of a foolish man, and take not the face of a tyrant. Thou shalt strive unto the death for the truth, and the Lord God shall fight for thee. Thou shalt not be insolent in thy tongue, and sluggish and stubborn in thy works. Thou shalt not be seen as a lion in thy house, and imagineth in thy houses. Let not thy hand be stretched forth to take, and to render timid. Chapter 5. Let it not fall upon thy money, neither shalt thou say it is sufficient for me. Let not thy soul and thy strength continue to go in the lusts of thy heart. And thou shalt not say, Who shall oppress me? For the Lord avenges vengeance. Tell me not what has happened to me, for the Lord is long-suffering. For atonement, be not fearless, to add sin to sins. And say not that his mercy is great. The multitude of my sins shall be atoned for mercy and wrath of him shall be extinguished, and his wrath shall cease upon sinners. Do not expect to return to the Lord, and delay not day after day, for the wrath of the Lord shall come forth, and in the time of vengeance it shall be uttered. Thou shalt not fall upon unrighteous money, for it shall profit thee nothing in the day of induction. Let not the wind be shaken in every wind, and walk not in every path, so the two-tongued sinner. Thou shalt be firmly established in thy understanding, and in one thy word be one. Be swift in thy hearing, and in long-suffering, an answer of the wicked. If thou be wise, answer thy neighbor, but if not, thy hand be upon thy mouth. Glory and dishonor in speech, and in the tongue of man is the fall of him. Thou shalt not be called a whisper, and thy tongue shall not lie in ambush, for the thief is shameful, and wicked knowledge upon the thief. In great and in small he shall not be ignorant, and instead of a friend, let him not be an enemy. For an evil name shall inherit shame and reproach, so shall the sinner who is bilingual inherit. Chapter 6. Thou shalt not take thyself in the counsel of thy soul, lest thy soul be plundered as a bull. Thou shalt devour thy leaves, and shalt lose thy fruit, and thou shalt leave thyself as dry wood. An evil soul destroys him that possesseth it, and shall make him a pretext for enemies. Sweet throats multiply his friends, and a common tongue multiplies readily. They that make peace with thee have been many, but thy counselors have been one of 1,000. If thou hast a friend in temptation, thou shalt have him, and thou shalt not trust him quickly. For he is a friend in his time, and he shall not abide in the day of thy tribulation. And there is a friend who is cast away to enmity and to the battle of thy reproach. And he is a friend, a partaker of tables, and he shall not abide in the day of thy tribulation. And in thy good things he shall be as thou, and in thy suppliants he shall be bold. If thou humble thyself, he shall be against thee, and he shall hide himself from thy face. Separate yourselves from thy enemies, and be careful of thy friends. A faithful friend is a mighty shelter, but he that found him hath found treasure. There is no exchange for a faithful friend, and there is no station of his beauty. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. He that feareth the Lord is responsible for his friendship, for according to him so also his neighbor. A child from thy youth thou hast chosen discipline, and shalt find wisdom unto the city. as the plough and the sower came unto her, and waited for her good fruits. For in her labor thou shalt labor a little, and eat quickly of her offspring. As it is very rough to the uneducated, and there is no heartless persistence in it, as a test stone shall be strong upon him, and he shall not long to reject it. For wisdom according to its name is, and not many are manifest. Hear, child, and receive my opinion, and answer not my counsel, and thrust thy feet into her feet, and thy neck into her girdle. Suppose thy own body, and bear it, and put not her in bondage. Come unto her with all thy soul, and with all thy strength keep her ways. Hunt forth, and seek, and let it be known unto thee, and being self-controlled, forsake her not. For at last thou shalt find her rest, and turn unto thee to gladness, and thee shall have her shoes for a strong protection, and her cords for a garment of glory. For there is a world of gold upon her, and her bonds are a clasp of the skin. Thou shalt put on it a garment of glory, and thou shalt bestow upon thyself a crown of gladness. If thou wilt have a child, let him be chastened, and if thou shalt show thy soul, thou shalt be a great worker. If thou shalt love to hear, receive, and if thou shalt bow thy ears, thou shalt be wise. In the multitude of elders, and let the wise man cling unto him. Thou shalt hear every divine narration, and let not proverbs of understanding escape thee. If thou seest a wise man, turn to him, and the degrees of his doors, let thy place rub out. Meditate in the commandments of the Lord, and in his commandments, for all he sustaineth thy heart, and the desire of wisdom shall be given unto thee. Chapter 7. Thou shalt not do evil, neither shall he understand the evil. Depart from unrighteousness, and it boweth away from thee. Son, sow not in the pit of iniquity, neither reap them 7 times over. Seek not of the Lord a rulership, nor of a king's seat of glory. Be not righteous before the Lord, and be not wise before the king. Seek not to be judged. Thou shalt not be strong in unrighteousness, lest thou shalt be revered by the face of an oppressor, and cause a stumbling block in thy righteousness. Sin not against the multitude of the city, neither cast thyself down in a multitude. For thou shalt not bind sin in the one thing, thou shalt not be innocent. Say not to the multitude of my gifts he shall see, and in him that he shall offer me to the Most High God. Thou shalt not be faint-hearted in thy prayer, and give alms, thou shalt not give away. Do not deceive a man, who is in the bitterness of his soul, for he that humbles and exalteth. Thou shalt not plough a lie upon thy brother, neither shall he do such a thing unto a friend. Thou shalt not lie every lie, for his rebuke is not for good. Thou shalt not stumble among the multitude of elders, neither shalt secondment a word in thy prayer. Thou shalt not hate labor, and agriculture, created by the Most High. Count not thyself in the midst of a multitude of sinners. Remember that wrath does not endure. Humble thy soul exceedingly, for vengeance is ungodly fire and worm. Thou shalt not change a friend for a different reason, nor a genuine brother in gold, Suphir. Let not a wise and good woman fail, for her grace is for gold. Thou shalt not hurt a supplicant that works in the truth, nor a hired man that gives his life. Thy soul shall not deprive him of liberty. They are beasts unto thee, visit them, and if they be useful unto thee, let them remain unto thee. Thy children chastise them, and bend their necks from youth. Be thy daughters, take heed of their bodies, and make not thy face glad unto them. Thou shalt bring forth a daughter, and thou shalt accomplish a great work, and a wise husband to give her away. Thou shalt not cast her forth, and when thou hatest her, trust not thyself. Glorify thy father with all thy heart, and thy mother shall not be deceived. Remember that thou wast born through them, and what thou shalt repay them as they did unto thee. With all thy soul reverence the Lord, and marvel at his priests. Love him that made thee with all might, and forsake not his ministers. Fear the Lord, and glorify the priest, and give his portion, as thou hast commanded thee, and for trespasses, and for the giving of alms, and the sacrifice of sanctification, and the beginning of the saints. And they stretched out thy hand to the poor, that thy blessing might be perfected. By the grace of the gift to every living thing, and to the dead, thou shalt not hinder grace. Do not lag behind in those who weep, and mourn with those who mourn. Thou shalt not be weary to visit a sick man, for he shall be loved by such men. In all thy words remember thy last days, and sin not forever. Chapter 8. Strife not with a man of oppression, lest thou enter into his hands. Quarrel not with a rich man, lest he ever resist thy whole thing, for he hath lost the gold, and turned away from the hearts of kings. Strife not with a man of tongues, neither cast wood upon his fire. Do not mock the uneducated, lest thy ancestors be dishonored. Do not reproach a man that abhors from sin. Remember that we are all in reproaches. Thou shalt not dishonor a man in his old age, for they grow old among us. Rejoice not over the dead. Remember that we are all dead. Thou shalt not give away the narrative of the wise, and turn back in their proverbs, for thou shalt learn instruction from them, and to minister to the greatest. For they also learned from their fathers that he would learn from their fathers, that he would learn understanding from them, and that in time of need he should give an answer. Burn not a sinner's coal, let not his flame be burned with fire. Thou shalt not arise from the face of a reviler, lest it settle as a sword in thy mouth. Lend not to a man stronger than thee, and if thou lend as a loser, be it. Thou shalt not vouch for thy power, and if thou shalt pledge as thou wilt, take heed. Judge not with a judge, for according to his glory they judge him. Go not with boldness in the way, lest he be burdened against thee, for he shall do according to his will, and with his foolishness. Thou shalt not fight with anger, neither walk with him in the wilderness, for as there is no blood in his eyes, and where there is no help he shall come upon thee. Counsel not with a fool, for he shall not be able to stand a word. Thou shalt not hide in the sight of a stranger, for thou knowest not what shall be done. Let not every man touch thy heart, neither let him bring unto thee grace. Chapter 9. Thou shalt not be zealous, O woman of thy bosom, neither teach thyself evil discipline. Thou shalt not give thy soul a wife, that she may live upon thy strength. Thou shalt not commit any woman, lest thou fall into her snares. With a chant she did not trouble any one in her enterprises. A virgin hath not been deceived at any time, lest thou be scandalized in her reproaches. Thou shalt not give thy soul unto harlots, lest thou lose thy inheritance. Look not in the ruins of a city, and in the wilderness thereof. I will not deceive. Turn away the eye of a well-formed woman, and do not perceive the beauty of a stranger in a beautiful woman. Many have been deceived, and from this friendship is kindled as a fire. Sit not all with a manly woman, and stumble not with her in wine, lest thy soul bow unto her, and thy spirit shall slip into perdition. Thou shalt not forsake an ancient friend, for the recent one hath not put wine upon him. A new friend, if he grow old, press him with gladness. Thou shalt not be jealous of the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what his destruction shall be. Thou shalt not be pleased with the good pleasure of the wicked. Remember that they shall not be justified unto hell. Depart from a man that hath power to kill, and suspect not fear of death. And if thou come, do not trespass, lest it take away thy life. Know that thou passest in the midst of snares, and walk on the ramparts of the city. According to thy power, think of thy neighbors, and counsel with the wise. With understanding, let thy meditation and all thy narration be in the law of the Most High. Righteous men have dined with thee, and thy glory be in the fear of the Lord. In the hands of craftsmen a work shall be praised, and the ruler of the people wise in his word. A fearful man in his city shall be tongued, and he that is profane in his word shall be hated. Chapter 10. A wise judge shall chastise his people, and a prudent ruler shall be appointed. According to the judge of the people, so also his ministers, and according to the governor of the city, all that dwell therein. An uneducated king shall destroy his people, and a city shall dwell in the understanding of oppressors. In the hand of the Lord the power of the earth, and the useful ariseth in due time upon it. In the hand of the Lord a man shall be happy, and with the face of a scribe shall put his glory upon him. Thou shalt not offend thy neighbor for any transgression, neither shall he commit any deed of reproach. Pride is hated before the Lord and men, and iniquity is flawed on both sides. The kingdom is transferred from nation to nation through iniquity, and insults, and money. What is the glory of the earth and the ashes? For in life I have cast down his innards. A physician and a king afflict a long sickness, this day, and tomorrow he shall die. For when a man dies, he shall inherit creeping, and beasts, and worms. The beginning of a man's pride is to depart from the Lord, and his heart has departed from him that made it. For the beginning of pride is sin, and he that holds it shall cast off an abomination. Therefore the Lord has glorified the inductions, and destroyed them to the end. The Lord took down the thrones of princes, and sat meek in their stead. The Lord cast out the root of the Gentiles, and planted the humble in their stead. The Lord has destroyed the land of the Gentiles, and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took out of them, and destroyed them, and put an end to their memorial from the earth. Pride is not created for men, nor wrath for anger, for the begotten of women. Honorable seed, what seed of man? Seed of honor, what seed of honor that fear the Lord? Seed of dishonor, what seed of man? Seed of dishonor, what seed that transgresseth the commandments? In the midst of the brethren their abbot is honorable, and they that fear the Lord in his eyes. Rich and glorious and poor is their boasting in the fear of the Lord. It is not righteous to dishonor the poor and prudent, and it is not right to glorify a sinful man. The greatest and the greatest judge and oppressor shall be glorified, and there is no greater of them that feareth the Lord. A wise man shall function freely, and a man of science shall not complain. Be not wise to do thy work, and glorify not in the time of thy distress. Laboring more and abundant in all things, or walking glorified in needy loaves of bread. Child, glorify thy soul in meekness, and give it honor according to its merit. Who shall justify him that sin in his soul, and who shall glorify him that dishonoreth his life? A poor man is glorified by his knowledge, and a rich man is glorified because of his riches. He that is glorified in poverty and riches in a great deal, and he that is inglorious in riches, and in poverty in a great deal. Chapter 11. The wisdom of the humble shall lift up his head, and in the midst of the magnates shall sit him down. Praise not a man in his goodness, and abhorrent not a man in his sight. A small bee in roosters, and the fruit thereof is the beginning of sweets. Thou shalt not boast in the garment of garments, and in the day of glory exult not. For the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works are secret to men. Many tyrants sat on the ground, but he who was unconscious put on a diadem. Many oppressors were greatly dishonored, and glorious were delivered into the hands of others. Before you examine, do not reproach, first understand, and then rebuke. Before thou hearest, answer not, and in the midst of words interfere not. For a thing which is not necessary for thee, quarrel not, and sit not in the judgment of sinners. Child, thy deed shall not be too long. If thou multiply, thou shalt not be acquitted, and if thou persecute, thou shalt not understand, and flee not. He is in labor, and in pain, and in haste, and so much more is he deprived of it. He is sluggish, bound in the understanding of inferiority. Strength and poverty abounds, and the eyes of the Lord looked upon him for good, and raised him up from his humility. And he lifted up his head, and many marveled at him. Good and bad, life and death, poverty and riches are from the Lord. The gift of the Lord remains godly, and his good will be done forever. He is riches by his attention and his firmness, and this portion of his wages. In saying this I have found rest, and now I am eaten of my good things, and I know not what time shall pass away, and leave them to others, and die. Stand up in thy covenant, and speak in it, and grow old in thy work. Do not marvel at the works of a sinner, but believe in the Lord, and persevere in thy pain. For I have fallen blind in the eyes of the Lord, for supposedly to make rich the poor. The blessing of the Lord and the reward of the godly, and in a speedy hour he shall forth his blessing. Tell me not what is my need, and from what henceforth shall be my good things. Tell me not that it is self-sufficient, and what shall I be hurt from now on? In the day of good, the amnesty of evils, and in the day of evil, there shall be no remembrance of good things. For I am cut off before the Lord in the day of death, to render a man in his ways. An hour's affliction maketh forgetfulness of indulgence, and at the end of a man's revelation of his works. Before the end he blessed no man, and a man shall be known among his children. Bring not every man into thy house, for the ambushes of the deceitful man are many. A partridge a predator in a cart, so is the heart of a proud one, and as a spy watcheth over the fall. For the good things that are converted into evils he ambushes, and he shall put a sword on the heretics. Out of a spark of fire coals multiplieth, and a sinful man ambushes in blood. Beware of an evildoer, for he smiteth no one forever. See thee, a stranger's dwelling, and he shall pervert thee in turmoil, and redeem thee of thy own. Chapter 12. If thou knowest what thou doest, and it shall be a favor unto thy good things. Be rewarded, and thou shalt find recompense, and if not of him, but of the Most High. It shall not be good to him that rebuketh evil, and unto him that gives not alms. Give unto the godly, and take not the sinner. Be humble, and give not to the wicked. Hinder his loaves, and see him not, lest he oppress thee twice as much in them. For thou shalt find evil in all that thou shalt do unto him. For the Most High also hated sinners, and avenged the wicked. Give to the good, and take not the sinner. A friend shall not avenge good things, nor shall the enemy hide himself in evils. In good man, his enemies in sorrow and in his evils, and his friend shall be separated. Thou shalt not believe thy enemy forever, for so his wickedness is as brass doeth. And if he be humbled, and go together, believe thy soul, and keep it from him, and thou shalt be unto him as a fighter, and he shall know that he hath not slain to the end. Thou shalt not set him by thyself, thou shalt not cast thee up unto thy place. Sit him at thy right hand, lest he seek thy seat, and know my words at last, and be contrite in my words. Who shall have mercy on the serpent, and all that bringeth beasts? Thus the man that walketh forth a sinner, and that is mingled in his sins, he abides with thee for an hour, and if thou shalt bow down, he shall not endure. And in his lips the enemy shall be sweetened, and in his heart shall counsel to cast thee into a pit. In his eyes the enemy shall weep, and if he find time, he shall not be filled with blood. Wickedly, if he meet thee, thou shalt find him there before thee, and promise thy heel as a helper. He shall move his head, and he shall applaud his hands, and he shall whisper many things, and alter his face. Chapter 13. He that toucheth the dreg shall be defiled, and he that partaketh shall be like him proudly. Lift not a burden greater than thee, and thou shalt not be stronger and richer. What shall commune with a cauldron? It shall crash, and it shall be crushed. A rich man hath done wrong, and he hath been afflicted. The poor man shall be unjustified, and he shall be bound. If thou wilt serve, he shall work in thee, and if thou shalt be lacking, he shall forsake thee. If thou shalt live with thee, and hath emptied thee, and he shall not be in pain. Thy necessity hath arisen, and shall deceive thee, and be deceived unto thee, and give thee hope. He shall speak well unto thee, and he shall say what thy need is. And he shall shame thee in his food, till he shall deceive thee, or thrice, and be afflicted with thee at last. After these things he shall see thee, and he shall forsake thee, and shake his head upon thee. Take heed that thou shalt not be deceived, neither be humbled in thy foolishness. Thou shalt be called a tyrant, yielding down, and so much more shall he invite thee. Do not fall, do not be repulsed, and let me not go far, lest thou be forgotten. Do not come to speak with him, and do not believe most of his words, for he will tempt you with much speech, and will examine you as a messenger. He is merciless, he that preserves not words, and spareth not afflictions and bonds. Observe and beware exceedingly, that thou walkest with thy fall. Every living thing loveth his likeness, and every man his neighbor. Every flesh is gathered together according to the kind, and to his like shall a man cling. What shall a wolf commune with a lamb, thus a sinner unto the godly? Who praiseth peace unto the dog, and the peace rich unto the poor? Hunting for lions in the wilderness, so the rich are poor. A proud abomination, humility, thus an abomination to the rich, the poor. A rich man who is shaken is supported by friends, but a humble man is rebuked by friends. A rich man erred, and many of his adversaries spoke secretly, and justified him. He was humble, and they rebuked him, and his understanding was rebuked, and no place was given to him. A rich man spoke, and they were all silent, and lifted up his word unto the clouds. The poor man spoke, and said, Who is this man? And if he stumbles, they shall turn him over. Good is riches, which are not sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the wicked. A man's heart changes his face, whether it be good, whether it be good, whether it be bad. A trace of the heart in good things, a cheerful face, and a finding of parables, meditations with labor. Chapter 14. Blessed is a man who has not slipped into his mouth, and has not bowed in sorrow of sins. Blessed is his soul not known, and he that hath not fallen from his hope. A man of small words is not good for riches, and a man is a poor man, so that what money? He that gathereth out of his soul gathereth others, and others shall delight in his good things. He that is evil shall be good to himself, and shall not rejoice in his money. He that tormenteth himself is not more wicked, and this is the retribution of his wickedness. And if he doeth in forgetfulness, he doeth also at the end, manifesteth his wickedness. Wicked is he that afflicts the eye, turning away his face, and exceeding souls. The eye of the greedy does not share it, and wicked unrighteousness dries up the soul. An evil eye, envious of bread, and lacking in his table. A child as thou hast had, thou shalt make thyself, and worthily bring offerings to the Lord. Remember that death is not long, and the covenant of hell has not been shown unto thee. Before thou shalt die, thou shalt make a friend, and stretch out according to thy power, and give unto him. Thou shalt not fall short of good days, and parts of good desires. Let me not pass thee away. Thou shalt not forsake another thy pains, and thy labors for the division of the lot. Give and take, and deceive thy soul, for it is not in Hades to seek pleasure. All flesh is as old as a garment, for the covenant is forever dead. As a thin leaf on a tree of a forest, it overwhelms others, but so does the generation of flesh and blood, which dies, and another is born. Every decaying work shall cease, and he that worketh, it shall depart with him. Blessed is a man that shall study in wisdom, and that which shall be chosen in his understanding. He that thinketh her ways shall be understood in his heart, and in her secrets. He went out after her as a pursuer, and ambushed her in her ways. He that boweth down through her doors, and upon her doors shall hear. He that goeth down shall be near her house, and shall coagulate a stake in her walls. He shall set up his tent against her hand, and lodge in a good taboo. He shall put his children in her shelter, and under her branches he shall slip. He shall be covered by her from burning, and in her glory he shall be destroyed. Chapter 15. He that feareth the Lord shall do this, and he that is temperamental of the law shall take possession of it. And she shall meet him as a mother, and as a virgin's wife she shall receive him. He shall give him bread, the bread of understanding, and water of wisdom shall water him up. He shall lean upon it, and shall not bow down, and shall not bow down upon it, and shall not be ashamed. And he shall lift him up from his neighbor, and in the midst of the church he shall open his mouth. He shall find joy, and a crown of gladness, and shall inherit the name of an age. Let not unwise men take possession of her, nor sinful men see her. It is far from pride, and men are scolded, and they will not remember it. Not a beautiful praise in the mouth of a sinner, for it was not sent by the Lord. For in wisdom praise shall be given, and the Lord shall prosper him. Say not that for the Lord's sake he has departed, for what he hated he will not do. Say not that he has deceived me, for there is no need for a man to be a sinner. The Lord hath hated every abomination, and he is not beloved unto them that fear him. From the beginning he made man, and left him into his counsel. If thou wilt keep the commandments, and do good in faith, fire and water have been given thee, which, if thou wilt, thou shalt stretch out thy hand. Life and death are before men, and whatever is pleasing to him shall be given unto him. For great is the wisdom of the Lord, mighty in power, and seeing all things. And his eyes are upon them that fear him, and he shall know every work of man. He commanded no man to be wicked, and gave no comfort to sin. Chapter 16. Desire not a multitude of unworthy children, nor rejoice in ungodly sons. If they multiply, rejoice not among them, unless the fear of the Lord be with them. Trust not in their life, neither should it fall upon their multitude more than 1, or 1,000, and die childless, or have ungodly children. For a city shall be dwelt with one wise man, and a tribe of lawless shall be desolate. My eye hath seen many such things, and my ear hath heard more mightily than these. In the synagogue of sinners shall be burned with fire, and in a nation shall be disobedient wrath burneth forth. He did not atonement for the ancient giants, who had departed from their power. He did not regret the sojourn of Lot, whom he abhorred because of their pride. No nation of destruction hath spared them that are withered in their sins. And so 600,000 footmen were gathered together in their hardness of heart. And if a stiff man be wonderful, this is if he be acquitted, for mercy and wrath are unto him, a ruler of atonements, and poureth out wrath. According to his great mercy, so much so the reproving of his man according to his works judges. A sinner shall not escape from the rapture, neither shall the patience of the godly delay. Every almsgiving shall make a place for every man according to his works. Sayest not that I will hide from the Lord, and from on high who shall remember me among the people, for I shall not know whom my soul shall be in an innumerable creation. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of the abyss of heaven and the earth in his bishopric shall be shaken, and the mountains and the foundations of the earth are gathered together in the trembling of them. And of them he shall not think of his heart, and who shall remember his ways? And a storm which no man shall see, but most of his works in secret, works of righteousness, which declare or endure long the covenant. As his heart decreases, he conceives these things, and a man that is foolish, and wandereth foolish. Hearken unto me, my child, and learn my knowledge, and in my words heed thy heart. I manifest discipline in the standard, and in accuracy I proclaim science. In the judgment of the Lord he has set away portions of them from the beginning, and from the making of them. He hath adorned his works for ever, and their principalities unto their generations. Neither hunger nor labor, neither did they depart from their works. Every man hath not crushed his neighbor, and shall not disobey his word for ever. And after these things the Lord looked upon the earth, and filled it with his good things. Every living creature's soul covered her face, and their aversion to her. Chapter 17. The Lord created man out of the earth, and turned him back to it. Days of number and time she gave them, and gave them authority over her. He clothed them in his own image, and made them in his own image. He set his fear upon all flesh, and to subdue wild beasts and fowls. And he hath given them counsel, and tongue, and ears, and heart. A science of understanding filled them, and showed them good and evil. He laid his eye upon their hearts, to show them the greatness of his works. And they shall praise the name of sanctification, that they may tell of the greatness of his works. He added unto them knowledge, and bequeathed unto them the law of life. He set up a covenant for ever with them, and showed them his judgments. Their eyes saw the greatness of glory, and the glory of his voice was heard by their ears. And he said unto them, Beware of every unrighteous, and commanded every one of them concerning his neighbor. Their ways against him shall never be hidden from his eyes. He hath made every nation an abbot, and is a part of the Lord of Israel. All their works are as the sun is against him, and his eyes are as thorough in their ways. Their iniquities were not hidden from him, and all their sins were against the Lord. A man's alms as a seal with him, and a man's sake as a daughter shall sustain him. After these things he shall rise up again, and repay them in their heads. But when they repented, he gave a return, and beseeched them, lacking patience. Turn to the Lord, and forsake sins, pray in the face and with a slender stumbling block. Ascend to the highest, and turn away from unrighteousness, and greatly hate an abomination. Who praises the Most High in Hades instead of the living, and gives a confession? From the dead, as there is no being, the confession of the living shall perish, and the healthy shall praise the Lord. As great is the mercy of the Lord, and the atonement of them that return unto him. For all things cannot be among men, for there is not an immortal son of man. What is brighter than the sun? And this shall disappear, and flesh and blood shall remember the evil one. He visiteth the power of the height of heaven, and all men, earth, and ashes. Chapter 18. He that lives forever has created all things in common. The Lord alone shall be justified. Wherefore hath he made known his works, and whom shall he discover his wonders? Who shall number his majesty, and who shall add, to declare his mercies? It is not to diminish nor to add, and there is no revelation of the wonders of the Lord. When a man does, then he begins, and when he ceases, then he will be bewildered. What a man, and what is his use? What is his good, and what is his evil? Number of days of a man many years. As a drop of water out of the sea, and a drop of sand, so a few years in the day of an age. Wherefore the Lord was indignant upon them, and poured out his mercy upon them. He saw and I knew their destruction. for this reason he evil multiplied his atonement. A man's mercy is for his neighbor, but the mercy of the Lord for all flesh, reproving and chastising and teaching and returning his flock as shepherd. He has mercy on them that receive discipline, and on them that turn to his judgments. A child of good things give not a burden, and in every child give sorrow of words. Dew shall not rest in the heat, so much more word or giving. Behold, there is no word for a good gift, and both in a man full of grace. A fool thanklessly reproaches, and a gift of Vascanus hath acquired eyes. Before you speak, know and heal before sickness. Before judgment examine thyself, and in the hour of the bishopric thou shalt find atonement. Before thou art sick, humble thyself, and in the time of sins shew a return. Thou shalt not be hindered from giving a vow in due time, and shalt not remain unto death to be justified. Before thou art pleased, prepare thyself, and be not as a man tempting the Lord. Remember the wrath in the days of the dead, and the time of vengeance in the revulsion of the face. Remember the time of famine, in the time of abundance, of poverty, and of destitution in the days of riches. From morning till evening the weather changes, and all things are swift before the Lord. A wise man shall be revered in all things, and in the days of sin he shall beware of trespasses. Every wise man has known wisdom, and to him that findeth it he shall confess. Wise in words they also became wise, and revered with accurate proverbs. Go not after thy desires, and hinder thy appetites. If thou wilt grant thy soul the pleasure of desire, it shall make thee an endowment of thy enemies. Rejoice not for much pleasure, and bind not her contribution. Thou shalt not be a poor signer of borrowing, and there is nothing unto thee in Marsipi. Chapter 19. A drunken workman shall not be rich. He that despiseth the little thing shall fall little by little. Wine and women shall depart wisely, and he that clings to fornication shall be bolder. Cepus and worms shall inherit him, and his soul shall be boldly cast out. He that trusteth swiftly shall have a hollow heart, and he that sinneth in his own soul shall transgress. He that rejoiceth in heart shall be condemned, and he that speaketh hateth be diminished with wickedness. Thou shalt never second it a word, and neither shall it be diminished unto thee. Tell no story to friend and foe, and if it is not a sin unto thee, reveal it not. For they have listened to thee, and have kept thee, and in due time shall hate thee. Thou shalt hear the word with thee, and thou shalt not come, and thou shalt not come. A fowl shall give birth to a fowl from the face of a word, as from the face of an infant the titus. An arrow that pierceth in the thigh of flesh. Thus a word is in the womb of a fool. Reprove a friend, whether he hath done nothing, and whether he hath done anything, lest it be added. Reprove thy neighbor that he hath not said at any time, and if he hath said, that he should not be secondary. Reprove your friend, for many times there is a slander, and believe not every word. He is a thief, and is not of the soul, and who has not sinned in his tongue. Reprove thy neighbor before he threatens, and give a place unto the law of the highest. All wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and in all wisdom the making of the law. And there is no wisdom of wickedness, and there is no wisdom in the wisdom of sinners. It is cunning, and it is an abomination, and it is a fool lacking wisdom. Being better to be defeated in prudence, fearing or abounding in prudence, and breaking the law. It is a cunning thing, and it is unjust, and it is perverse for the sake of expressing judgment. He is an evil man who gathers together with blackness, and the things that are within him are full of deceit. A face that clashes with a deaf, where he hath not been known, shall overtake thee. And if he be hindered by a fault of power, if he finds time, he will do evil. A man shall be known by sight, and by a face he shall be wise. A man's adornment, and the laughter of teeth, and the steps of a man declare the things of him. Chapter 20. There is a reproof, which is not beautiful, and is of silence, and he is prudent, that it is good to reprove, or to remember. And he that confesseth shall be hindered by a deficiency. The desire of a eunuch to defile a young woman, so he that doeth judgments in life. He is wise in silence, and is hated by much speech. For he is silent, for he hath no answer, and he is silent as a time. A wise man shall be silent for a time, but he who is lazy and foolish shall transcend a time. He that is superfluous in word shall be abhorred, and he that is in power shall be hated. There is good in bad men, and there is happiness in diminishing. There is a gift that will not benefit thee, and there is a gift whose reward is doubled. There is a diminution for glory's sake, and it is he that hath taken up his head out of humility. He is that buyeth much little, and gives them up 7 times as much. A wise man shall make himself dear in words, but the graces of fools shall be poured out. A foolish gift shall not be of use to thee, for his eyes are one for many. He shall give a little, and reproach much, and open his mouth as a preacher. This day he is a preacher, and tomorrow such a hateful man shall demand. Foolishly saith, There is no friend unto me, and there is no grace unto my good ones. Let them that eat his bread be wicked tongues many times, and as many as shall be deceived by him. A slip from the ground rather than from a tongue, so shall the fall of evils in haste. A man who is unthankful shall be rebuked in the mouth of the uneducated. A parable shall not be condemned by the mouth of a fool, for he shall not speak it in the time thereof. He is hindered from sinning because of poverty, and in his rest he shall not be overcome. He destroys his soul because of shame, and because of a foolish face he destroys it. It is for the sake of shame that he has proclaimed a friend, and hath made him an enemy freely. An evil foe in man shall be tested for falsehood in the mouth of the uneducated. A heretic thief, or he that rebukes lies, and both shall inherit perdition. A man's morality is false dishonor, and his shame is with him thoroughly. A wise man shall advance himself in words, and a wise man shall be most pleasing to them. He that toileth the earth shall lift up his thumb, and he that pleases the greatest shall atone for unrighteousness. Strangers and gifts he blindeth the eyes of the wise, and as a muzzle in the mouth prevents reproofs. Wisdom is hidden, and treasure is invisible, which is of benefit in both. More man hideth his foolishness, or man conceals his wisdom. Chapter 21. Having sinned not a child, add no more, and pray concerning thy antecedents. As from the face of a serpent, flee from sin, for if thou comest unto thee, her teeth shall be bitten by the teeth of a lion, which destroy the souls of men. Like a double-edged sword, every iniquity is not a cure for her wound. Amazement and reproach shall desolate riches, so shall the house of the proud be desolate. A poor man's supplication from his mouth unto his ears, and his judgment cometh with haste. A rebuke of hatred in the footsteps of a sinner, and he that feareth the Lord shall return in heart. He who is strong in tongue is known from afar, but he who is intelligent has seen him in his slipping. He that buildeth his house with the money of strangers, as he gathereth his stones in the winter. A synagogue of the wicked gather together, and their end is a flux of fire, a way of sinners made of stones, and a cesspool of hell at the ends of it. He that keepeth the law keepeth the meaning of it, and the end of the fear of the Lord wisdom. He that is not wicked shall not be chastened, but there is cunning multiplying bitterness. The knowledge of a wise man shall be multiplied as a flood, and his counsel as a fountain of life. A baby's bowels are like a broken vessel, and he shall not hold all knowledge. If he heareth a wise word, he shall praise him, and add to it he that wasters, and took him away, and turned him back behind his back. Explanation of a fool, as in the way a burden shall be found, but grace shall be found on the lips of a prudent man. The mouth of a wise man shall be sought in the church, and his words shall be understood in the heart. As a house is destroyed, so foolish wisdom and knowledge of unwise words are unexamined. As a handful of fools, and as handcuffs on the right hand. A fool in laughter lifteth up his voice, but a man who is a fool as soon as he is quiet smiles. As a world of golden wisdom, discipline, and as opulence on the right arm, that a fool's fool is fast into the house, but a man who is well experienced shall be ashamed of his face. A fool shall bow down from the door into a house, but a man shall be chastised outside. A man's ignorance shall be heard at the door, but the wise shall be burdened with dishonor. Nevertheless, the lips of strangers shall speak, but the words of the wise shall stand in yoke. Their hearts are in the mouths of fools, and the hearts of the wise are their mouths. By cursing the wicked Satan, he curses his own soul. He that whispereth defiles his soul, and shall be hated in the sojourn. Chapter 22. A lazy man was beaten to a stone that was burned, and every man sheath away at his dishonor. With a ball of dung, a lazy man was fell, whosoever shall shake him with a hand. A father is ashamed in the birth of an uneducated son, but a daughter is diminished. A wise daughter shall bear her husband, and she that is ashamed to give birth to sorrow. Insolence shall put father and husband to shame, and shall be dishonored by both. Music in mourning is an untimely narration, and scourges and education in all times of wisdom. He that teacheth a fool, that bindeth together assured, and sleepeth out of a deep sleep. Narrating sleepy, the narrator of a fool, and at the end says what it is. Weep for the dead, for the light has departed, and weep for the foolish, for he has lost his own understanding. Weep for the dead, for the fool's rest, but the life is evil for death. The mourning of the dead 7 days, but the days of the fool, and all the days of his life are ungodly. Thou shalt not multiply the word with foolishness, and go not to the foolish one, to keep on his mind, lest thou hast labor, and be not defiled in his affliction. Turn away from him, and shalt thou find rest, and shalt not be disgusted with his affliction. What shall he be burdened with more than a lead, and what shall he be called but a fool? Sand and all, and a rod of iron that is easy to bear, or a man who is unwise. A wood tree bound in a building with an earthquake shall not be dissolved. So shall a heart that is founded on the mind of counsel be broken in time, and shall not be afraid. A heart rested upon a mind of understanding, as a world of sand, a scratched wall. Rulers on the meteor, standing against the wind, shall not endure. So shall not a cowardly heart be upon the mind of a fool, against all fear, and endure not. He who sheds tears in his eye, and in the hardness poureth out feelings. By throwing a stone upon fowls, he shall destroy them, and he that reproacheth a friend shall break friendship. Against a friend, if thou shalt break a sword, thou shalt not despair, for it is a return. To a friend, if thou shalt open thy mouth, thou shalt not be reverent, for there is reconciliation but reproach, and pride, and mystery, revelation, and plague, deceit. Yet every friend shall be avoided. To acquire faith in poverty with one's neighbor, that thou mayest be filled with his good things in the time of tribulation, that thou mayest inherit his inheritance together. Before the fire, the steam of the furnace, and the smoke, so before the blood reproach. To cover a friend, I will not be ashamed, and I will not hide from him. And if any evil should happen to me because of him, every one that heareth shall be guarded by him. Who shall give my mouth a watch, and a fine seal upon my lips, that I may not fall from it, and my tongue shall destroy me? Chapter 23. O Lord Father, and Master of my life, forsake me not in their counsel, let me fall among them. Who shall believe in my mind a scourge, and in my heart a discipline of wisdom, that they may not spare my ignorance, and take not their sins, that my carelessness may not multiply, and that my sins may abound, and that I fall before my adversaries, and that my enemy may rejoice in me. O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not the flatulence of my eyes, and turn away desire from me. Let not the appetite of the womb, and the intercourse understand me, and the soul be ashamed, lest thou betray me. Listen to the discipline of the mouth, children, and he that keepeth not speaketh not. A sinner shall be taken away from his lips, and a reviler, and a proud man shall be stumbled upon them. Thou shalt not touch thy mouth with an oath, and thou shalt not become accustomed to the name of the holy. For as a supplicant that is thoroughly examined by a bruise shall not be diminished, so he that sweareth and calls for ever shall not be cleansed of sin. A man of many oaths shall be filled with iniquity, and shall not depart from his house. If he shall commit his sin against him, and if he overdose, he shall sin twice. And if he swear not by vain, he shall be justified, for his house shall be filled with inducements. It is a word that is contrasted with death. Let not it be found in the inheritance of Jacob. For all these things shall turn away from the godly, and they shall not be wrapped up in sins. Let not thy mouth be accustomed to ignorance, for in it is the word of sin. Remember thy father and thy mother, for thou shalt sit in the midst of the magnates, lest he ever be deceived before them, and thou shalt be foolish in thy custom. and thou wilt will, if thou art not born, and curse the day of thy childbirth. A man that is accustomed to words of reproach in all his days shall not be chastened. 2 kinds of sin multiply, and the third is filled with wrath. A soul as hot as a burning fire shall not be quenched, until a fornicator shall be swallowed up in the flesh of his flesh. He shall not cease, until he burneth the fire of a harlot man. Every loaf of bread shall not cease until he dies. A man that transgresses from his bed, saying, Who sees me in his soul? Who sees me as darkness round about me, and the walls cover me, and when he does not see me, how much do I repent of my sins? The Most High shall not remember, and the eyes of men are the fear of him. And I know not that the eyes of the Lord are 1,000 times brighter, seeing all the ways of men, and understanding in secret places. Before all things were created, so also after it was accomplished. He shall avenge himself in the streets of the city, and he shall be caught whom he hath not conceived. So also a woman left her husband, and presented herself as an heir from another man. For first he persuaded in the law of the highest, and secondly he committed adultery and fornication, and a stranger brought children to her husband. She shall be brought out into the church, and over her children shall be an overseer. Her children shall not spread to the roots, and her branches shall not bear fruit. He shall forsake her memorial to curse, and her reproach shall not be blotted out. And they that are forsaken shall know that there is no greater fear of the Lord, nor sweeter than heeding the commandments of the Lord. Chapter 24. Wisdom shall praise her soul, and she shall rejoice in the midst of her people. In the church of the Most High she shall open her mouth, and she shall boast before his power. I went out from the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth like a mist. I have dwelt in the highest, and my throne in the pillar of the cloud. I have circled the old of heaven alone, and walked in the depths of the abyss, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation I have made. With all these things I have sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I slip? Then the Maker of all things commanded me, and he that created me ceased my tent, and said, Dwell in Jacob, and be inherited in Israel. Before the age he created me from the beginning, and I will not grow up forever. I served in a holy tabernacle before him, and so I was founded in Zion, in a beloved city. Likewise my authority rested me, and in Jerusalem. And I have established myself in a glorified people, in the portion of the Lord's inheritance. As a cedar tree, I was lifted up in the frankincense, and as a cypress tree in the mountain of Hermon. As a phoenix, I have been lifted up in Agades, and as plants of passage in Jericho, as a decent olive tree in the field. And I have been lifted up as a plane tree. As a cinnamon and a broom of spices I gave an odor, and as fine myrtle I gave forth a fragrance, as halva, and onyx, and ashes, and as the vapor of Lebanon in a tabernacle. I, as a termith, have enlarged my branches, and my branches branches of glory and grace. I have sprouted grace as a vine, and my flowers the fruit of glory and riches. Come unto me, ye that desire me, and ye shall be filled with my seed. For my memorial is sweet for honey, and my inheritance is for honey. They that eat me shall hunger still, and they that drink me shall thirst still. He that obeys me shall not be ashamed, and they that work in me shall not sin. All these things are the covenant of the Most High God, the law which Moses commanded us, an inheritance unto the synagogues of Jacob. He who pimbles wisdom as a fishon, and as a tiger in the days of youth. He that replenisheth prudence as Euphrates, and as Jordan in the days of harvest. He that maketh forth as light a discipline as the earth in the days of the harvest. It did not the former to know it, and so the last did not make it known. For out of the sea her mind multiplied, and her counsel out of a great abyss. And I, as a channel out of a river, and as an aqueduct, went out into paradise. I said, I will water my garden, and drink my greenery, and behold, the canal has become for me into a river, and my river is made into the sea. Yet I give chastity as matins, and manifest them unto a distance. Yet will I pour out a teaching as a prophecy, and will leave it for generations forever. Behold, I have not labored myself alone, but all that seek it. Chapter 25. In 3 years I was beautified, and rose beautifully before the Lord and men, the concord of brethren, and the friendship of neighbor, and wife and husband behaving unto themselves. And my soul hath hated three kinds, and I have slain exceedingly in their lives: the poor, the proud, and the rich, the liar, the old man, the adulterer, the wise. Thou hast not gathered in youth, and how can thou find in thy old age? As a beautiful thing to many judgments, and to know the counsel of the elders, as the beautiful wisdom of the elders, and the glorified intellect and counsel. A crown of elders is a multitude of experience, and their boasting is the fear of the Lord. I have blessed 9 things in my heart, and the 10th I say in tongue, a man rejoicing over living children, and seeing the fall of enemies. Blessed is he that dwelleth wise women, and he that is in tongue hath not slipped, and he that hath not served unworthy of himself. Blessed is he that hath found understanding, and he that speaketh in the ears of hearing. As great is he that findeth wisdom, but it is not greater than he that feareth the Lord. The fear of the Lord is greater than all that he that holds him. Whom shall he be like? Every wound, and not the wound of the heart, and every wickedness, and not the wickedness of a woman. All induction, and no induction of haters, and all vengeance, and no vengeance of enemies. There is no head for the head of a serpent, and there is no anger for the wrath of an enemy. I will be pleased to dwell with a lion and a dragon, or to dwell with an evil woman. The wickedness of a woman altereth her sight, and darketh her face as a bear. Her husband fell down in the midst of his neighbor, and sighed bitterly involuntarily. Every little wickedness unto the wickedness of a woman, the lot of a sinner fell upon her. A sandy ascent, in which an elder is likewise, a woman with a tongue, a quiet man. Thou shalt not fall down upon beauty, woman, and desire not a woman. Wrath and shame a great woman if she give her husband. A lowly heart, and a sullen face, and a wound of heart, a woman with evil hands, and broken knees, that bless not her husband. From a woman is the beginning of sin, and for her we all die. Thou shalt not give water a way out, nor an evil woman's boldness. If it go not by thy hand from thy flesh, cut it off. Chapter 26. Blessed is the husband of a good woman, and twice the number of his days. A woman of manhood rejoiceth her husband, and shall pay for his years in peace. A good woman shall be given a good portion in the portion of those who fear the Lord, and the heart of the rich and the poor is good at all times, a cheerful face. From 3 things my heart was revered, and in the 4th person I prayed the devil of the city, and the church of the multitude, and falsehood for death, all evil things. A pain of heart and mourning a woman unequal to women, and a scourge of tongue touching all that communicate. A woman who is shaken by an evil woman, who holds her as a scorpion that doeth work. A great woman's wrath, drunkenness, and her ugliness he shall not conceal. A woman's fornication shall be known in the flatulence of her eyes, and in her eyelids. Upon an unbreakable daughter establish a watchtower, that she may not find comfort for herself. Thou shalt keep behind the foolish eye, and marvel not if he shall transgress thee. As a thirsty traveler shall open his mouth, and drink of every water that is near, he shall sit before every stake, and open a quiver against an arrow. By the grace of a woman shall delight her husband, and his bones shall be seized by her science. The gift of the Lord is a sure woman, and there is no exchange for an educated soul. Grace unto grace is a woman of shame, and there is no rank for every one worthy of a temperate soul. A sun rising in the highest of the Lord, and the beauty of a good woman in the world of her house. A lamp that shines upon a holy lampstand, and the beauty of a face upon a stagnant age, pillars of gold upon a base of silver, and beautiful feet upon strong chests. For 2 things my heart is grieved, and for the 3rd my anger has come to me. A warrior who is weak because of poverty, and wise men, if they be stumped, turning from righteousness to sin, the Lord will prepare him for the sword. As soon as a merchant is delivered from trespasses, and no thief shall be justified from sin. Chapter 27. For the sake of many things have sinned, and he that seeketh to multiply shall turn away his eye. A stake shall be caught in the midst of joints of stones, and sin shall be crushed by the means of deeding and buying. If he hold not in the fear of the Lord in haste, his house shall quickly be destroyed. In the earthquake of a sieve dwelleth, so a man's garbage dwelleth in his thoughts. A furnace and a man's temptation test potter's vessels in his meditation. The fruit thereof is the fruit of the wood, thus a word of remembrance of the heart of man. Thou shalt not praise a man before thought, for this is a temptation of men. If thou pursuest the righteous, take possession of it and clothe it as a garment of glory. And the foul shall be destroyed unto the like, and the truth unto the workman, it shall be renewed. A lion thus ambushes a prey for sin that work unjustly. The narration of the pious for all wisdom, but the foolish is changed like the moon. Preserve time in the midst of the unwise, but in the midst of the intellectuals he scrutinized. The narration of fools is a pretext, and their laughter is a waste of sin. A word of many oaths shall lift up the hair, and the battle of them shall be a seal of ears. The shedding of blood, the battle of the proud, and the reproach of them, a wicked hearing. He that revealeth mysteries hath lost faith, and hath found no friend unto his soul. Take away a friend, and be credited with him, but if thou wilt reveal his mysteries, thou shalt not pursue him after him. For as a man hath lost his dead, so hast thou lost the friendship of thy neighbor. And as a fowl thou hast loosed out of thy hand, so hast thou forsaken thy neighbor, and shalt not prey upon him. Thou shalt not cast him away, for he hath fled far away, and hath escaped like a snare, like a snare. For it is a wound to conceive, and reproach is a reconciliation. But he that hath revealed mysteries, he has forsaken it. He who entereth with his eye smiteth evils, and no man shall turn them away from him. His mouth shall be sweetened before thy eyes, and he shall marvel at thy words, and afterward he shall pervert his mouth, and in thy words he shall cause a stumbling block. I have hated many things, and have not been like him, and the Lord shall hate him. He that casteth a stone upon his head, and maketh a wound of deceit. He that breaketh up a pit shall enter into it, and he that sets a snare shall be broken in it. He that doeth evil shall come unto him, and he shall not know whence he came. Mockery and reproach haughtily, and vengeance as a lion ambush him. They that rejoice shall fall into a snare, and pain shall consume them before their death, a month and a wrath, and these are abominations, and a sinner shall be tempered with them. Chapter 28. He that avengeth of the Lord shall find vengeance, and he that keepeth his sins shall preserve. Forgive thy neighbor a transgression, and then thy sins shall be loosed. A man preserves wrath from man, and seeks healing from the Lord. He has no mercy on a man like himself, and he prays for his sins. He that keepeth flesh, who shall atone for his sins? Remember the last days, and cease to destroy your enemies, and die, and keep the commandments. Remember the commandments, and swear not to your neighbor, and the covenant of the Most High, and beware of ignorance. Abstain from battle, and reduce sin, for a man that is angry shall burn up a battle. And a sinful man shall trouble his friends, and in the midst of them he shall bring devil. According to the substance of fire, so shall he be burned, and according to the strength of battle shall be burned. According to the strength of man, his anger shall be, and according to riches he shall exalt his wrath. A man hastening forth burneth fire, and a battle hast poured out blood. If thou blow into a spark, it shall be burned, and if thou spitest upon it, it shall be quenched, and both shall proceed out of thy mouth. Curse many with a whisper, and a two-tongued whisper, for he hath destroyed many when he was at peace. The third tongue stirred many, and divided them from nation to nation, and destroyed strongholds, and destroyed the houses of the magnates. A third tongue cast out a woman of manhood, and deprived them of their pains. He that keepeth her shall not find rest, neither shall he dwell in quietude. A plague maketh a scourge with a bruise, but a wound with a tongue bindeth bones. Many have fallen into the mouth of the sword, and not as they have fallen for a tongue. Blessed is he that hath been covered by her, which hath not passed away in her wrath, which hath not drawn her yoke, and hath not bound herself in her bonds. For her yoke is a yoke of iron, and her bonds are bonds of Chaldean. Her death is evil death, and her hell is rather profitable. Thou shalt not keep the pious, neither shall they burn in her flame. Those who leave the Lord are immersed in it, and in them it shall be burned, and it shall not be quenched. It shall be sent forth unto them as a lion, and as a sparrow. Behold, fence thy possession with thorns, thy silver, and destroy thy gold, and by thy words make a yoke and a weight, and with thy mouth make a door and a lever. Beware lest thou slip in it, lest thou fall opposite him in ambush. Chapter 29. He that doeth mercy unto his neighbor, and he that exerteth his hand keepeth commandments. Lend unto thy neighbor in his time of need, and give back again to thy neighbor in due time. Establish a word, and be faithful with it, and at all times shalt find thy need. Many thought a Danis as a find, and labored to those who helped them. Till he shall kiss his hands, and upon his neighbor's money he shall humble his voice, and at the time of repentance he shall delay a time, and render words of listlessness, and shall cause the time. If he be able as soon as half is taken, and it is counted as a find, but if he hath not deprived him of his money, and hath made him an enemy free of curses and reproaches, he shall repay him, and instead of glory he shall repay him dishonor. Many have not turned away because of wickedness, but have been deprived freely. But in lowliness be long-suffering, and in almsgiving delay him not. For the sake of the commandment perceive the poor, and according to his need turn him away not empty. Lose silver for your brother's sake and friend, and let him not be cut down by the stone to perish. Thou shalt give thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall be of greater use to thee than gold. Gather alms in thy treasuries, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction. For the shield of the state, and for the spear of the multitude, he shall fight against the enemy for thee. A good man shall secure his neighbor, and he that loseth shame shall forsake him. For he hath given his life for thy sake. A sinner shall overthrow the good things of a wife, and an ungrateful man shall forsake him in his mind. He lost many by directing, and stirred them up like a sea. Mighty men smote them, and they were led astray among stranger nations. A sinner who is put into bail and persecutes labor is put into judgment. Understand thy neighbor according to thy might, and take heed that thou shalt not interfere with thyself. The beginning of life is water, and bread, and clothing, and a house covering ugliness. The life of the poor is greater, under the shelter of beams, or bright dishes among strangers. To small and great he hath good will, and the reproach of the sojourn thou shalt not hear not. Evil life from house to house, and where thou shalt sojourn shalt not open a mouth. Strangers and drinkers unthankfully, and to these things he shall hear bitterly. Come, O sojourner, adorn the table, and if anything in thy hand, give me bread. O sojourner, go forth from the face of glory, my brother hath been strangers to me, needing the house. These things are heavy for a man that has understanding, the rebuke of a house, and the reproach of a lender. Chapter 30. He that loveth his son shall shew scourges upon him, that he may rejoice in his last days. He that chastiseth his son shall rejoice in him, and he who learneth in him shall boast. He that teacheth his son shall be jealous of the enemy, and shall rejoice in him before his friends. His father died, and he who died was not like him, for he left him after him. In his life he saw, and rejoiced, and in his death he grieved not. He left vengeance against enemies, and repaid his friends with favor. The son of the cold shall bind his wounds, and at every cry shall he be troubled in his womb. An untamed horse goes forth hard, and a son lifted up goeth forth before. Bring a child, and he shall amaze thee, play with him, and pity thee. Thou shalt not deceive him, lest thou be accompanied, and thou shalt bite thy teeth to the end. Thou shalt not give him authority in youth, pierce his ribs as a babe, lest he be hardened and disobey thee. Chastise thy son, and work in him, lest thou stumble in his wickedness. A poor man who is healthy and strong in his life, or a rich man scourged in his own body. Healthiness and well-being of every piece of gold, and a strong body, or an innumerable bulk. There is no richness of the good health of the body, and there is no gladness for the joy of the heart. Death is greater than bitter life, and rest forever, or sickness that persists. Good things poured out into a closed mouth, things of food that are near the grave. For it is profitable for an idol to bear fruit, for he that is persecuted by the Lord neither gives, nor is he so persuaded. Seeing with eyes, and groaning as a eunuch, embracing a virgin, and groaning. Give not thy soul to sorrow, neither grieve thyself in thy counsel. The joy of the heart is the life of man, and the joy of a man is long day. Deceive thy soul, and beseech thy heart, and turn away sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath perished many, and there is no benefit in it. Zeal and anger diminish by day, and before old age bringeth care. A bright and good heart shall be cared for in the dishes of her food. Chapter 31. A watchfulness of riches yieldeth flesh, and his care bringeth away sleep. A vigil care shall put away sleep, and a grievous sickness shall make sleep sleep. A rich man labored in a synagogue of money, and in his rest he feasted on his delights. A poor man has labored in the shortness of life, and in rest he is strained. He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that pursueth things in them shall be deceived. Many were given to the corpse for the sake of gold, and their perishability came to pass in their face. He is a stumbling block to them that excite him, and every fool shall fall in him. Blessed is a rich man who is found without blemish, and who walketh not after gold. Who is he, and we are blessed? For he hath done wonders among his people. Who was tried in him, and was perfected, and it will be to him to boast, who could transgress, and did not transgress, and did not do evil. His good things shall be established, and his alms shall be told by the church. Thou hast sat down at a great table, open not thy throat upon it, and say not much about it. Remember ye that an evil eye is more evil than an evil eye, for this reason it weepeth from every face. Wherefore if he look, stretch forth not his hand, and crush him not with a dish. He understandeth the things of his neighbor of himself, and of all things intellectually indeed. Eat as a man that is near thee, and I will not cheat, lest thou be hated. Cease first for the sake of discipline, and be not covetous, lest thou stumble at any time. And if thou hast sat in the midst of a multitude before them, stretch forth not thy hand. As a man who is able to be chastened, he does not faint a little, and in his bed. A sleep of health, in a moderate intestine, arose in the morning, and his soul with him, the pain of watchfulness, and cholera, and a turn with a greedy man. And if thou hast been hastened in bandages, arise in the midst of a distance, and rest. Hearken unto me, my child, and destroy me not. And at last thou shalt find my words in all thy works. Be a man of fear, and answer thee not every sickness. He shall bless his lips resplendently on bread, and the testimony of his beauty faithful. An evil man shall complain of bread in a city, and the testimony of his wickedness is exact. For wine is not in the wine of a man, for the wine hath destroyed many. A furnace tastes a mouth in dying, thus the wine of the heart in battle of the proud. Wine of life shall be poured out unto men. If thou drink it in the measure of it, any life shall be reduced to wine, and it shall be created unto the joy of men. The joy of the heart, and the gladness of the soul, the wine that is drunk in the time of self-sufficiency. Bitterness of the soul wine drunk much, with excitement and repercussions. Drunkenness, anger, the wrath of the foolish multiplieth in the stumbling block of weak powers, and feigned wounds. At the feast of wine, rebuke not your neighbor, and despise him not with his gladness. Say not a word of reproach to him, and grieve him not with demand. Chapter 32. They have made thee an abbot. Be not a high priest among them. As one of them, take care of them, and so sit down. And when thou hadst done all thy necessity, thou didst fall down, that thou mayest rejoice over them, and receive a crown for the grace of adornment. Speak, O presbyter, for thou shalt be in a precise science, and hinder not musically. Where thou shalt not hear a hearing, and speak not unduly. A seal of coal upon a golden world, a comparison of musicians in a wine banquet. A member of the musicians in a gold structure with an emerald seal on wine. Speak, young man, if you need it, as soon as thou shalt be asked. Capitalize the word in a few words, be it as knowing, and at the same time being silent. In the midst of magnates, do not be equal, and another saying, do not give up much. Before thunder there shall come lightning, and before shame grace shall come. In the hour of rising, and not being sick, run to the house, and do not wake up. There play and make thy memorabilia, and sin not because of the word of pride. And wherefore bless him that made thee, and make thee drunk of his good things. He that feareth the Lord shall receive discipline, and they that are upright shall find good pleasure. He that seeketh the law shall be filled with him, and he that pretendeth shall be stumbled in him. They that fear the Lord shall find judgment and righteousness as a light. A sinful man bows down to reproof, and according to his will he shall find comparison. A man of counsel shall not lose sight of a stranger's mind, and he shall not be proud, he shall not melt away fear. Thou shalt not do without counsel, and in doing thee repent not. Go not in the way of an impact, neither stumble upon a stone. Thou shalt not believe in the way without a stumbling block, and of thy children thou shalt keep. In all things believe in thy soul, for this is the keeping of commandments. He that believeth in the law heedeth the commandments, and he that trusteth in the Lord shall not be diminished. Chapter 33. To him that feareth the Lord shall not answer evil, but in temptation, and shall again be delivered. A wise man shall not hate the law, but he that pretendeth in it as a ship in a storm. A wise man shall trust in the law, and the law faithful unto him as a question of declaring. Prepare a word, and thus it may be heard, share instruction and answer. A chariot's wheel, in the womb of a baby, and his meditation turned like an axis. A horse and a horse, as a friend, a mouse, underneath every one who sits down. Wherefore the day of the day is greater than all the light of the day from the sun. By the knowledge of the Lord they were separated, and he hath changed the seasons and the feasts. Of them he lifted up, and sanctified, and of them he set for a number of days. And all men were created out of the ground and out of the earth. In the multitude of knowledge the Lord separated them, and changed their ways. Of them he blessed, and lifted up, and sanctified of them, and came to him, cursing them, and humbled them, and turned them back from their standing. As the clay of a potter's in his hand all his ways according to his good pleasure, so men in the hand of him that made them render them according to his judgment. Against evil is good, and life is like life against death, so is life against a pious sinner. And so look at all the works of the Most High, 2 and 2, one against the one. And I have kept watch at last, as if he were reeded after harvesters. With the blessing of the Lord I came, and as a harvest I filled a winepress. Understand that I have not labored alone, but all that seek instruction. Listen to me, O great men of the people, and ye rulers of the church, hear. Son and wife, brother and friend, give no authority over thee in thy life, and give no other man thy money, lest thou repent of them. As long as thou liveth and breath in thee, change not thyself in all flesh. For thy children are greater to pray, or to look upon thee in the hands of thy sons. Be exceeding in all thy works, give not a sword in thy glory. At the end of the days of thy life, and at the time of death, thou shalt give an inheritance, bread, and bread, and bread, and supplication, and work. Thou shalt work in a child, and thou shalt find rest in his hands, and he shall seek liberty. A yoke and a yoke shall bend our necks, and a sick man shall be crooked and afflicted. He put him to work, that he might not be late, for idleness taught him not much wickedness. Set up for works as it ought unto him, and if he obeys not, weigh down his feet. And thou shalt not abound over all flesh, neither shalt thou do anything without judgment. If there be a supplicant unto thee, let it be as thee, for I will kill him by blood. If there be a supplicant for thee, let him as a brother, for thou shalt bind him as thy soul. If thou shalt hurt him, and take him away, in what way shalt thou seek him? Chapter 34. Empty hopes and false unwise men, and dreams are flashed by fools. As a shadow doeth and pursueth the wind, so he that hath dreams. This is the vision of dreams against a face, the likeness of a face. Of unclean things shall be cleansed, and of falsehoods what shall be true. Divinations and oaths and dreams are vain, and as a whirlwind he imagines a heart. Unless he be sent by the Most High into an overseer, give them not thy heart. For many have deceived their dreams, and they have fallen, trusting in them. Without falsehood shall the law be accomplished, and wisdom shall be perfected by the mouth of the faithful. A man who has gone astray has known many things, and he who is experienced will tell of prudence. He that has not been tempted has seen little, but he that is deceived multiplies cunning. I have seen many things in my deception, and more than my words my understanding. For many times I was in danger unto death, and was saved because of them. For their hope shall live in the spirit of those who fear the Lord, in him that saveth them. He that feareth the Lord shall not be revered, neither shall he be afraid, for he himself is his hope. Fearing the Lord, blessed is the soul of what it takes, and what support it takes. The eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him, a defense of a dynasty, and a support of strength, a shelter from heat, and a shelter from noon, a prison from a stumbling block, and help from a fall. Lifting up the soul and enlightening the eyes, healing, giving life and blessing. Offering unrighteously an offering, and not for good pleasure the gifts of the wicked. The Most High is not pleased with the offerings of the wicked, neither is he atoned for sin in the multitude of sacrifices. Sacrificing a son before his father, he offering a sacrifice out of the money of the poor. The bread of the poor is the life of the poor, the man that despiseth it with blood. He that killeth his neighbor that is taken away shall live. And he that sheddeth blood, he that taketh away the wages of the Lord. To some builders, and to some to destroy, what profited more than labor? To pray to one and to one to curse, whose voice shall the Master hear? Being baptized from the dead, and touching him again, what profit hath he in his bath? Thus a man fasting for his sins, and going on again, and doing the same things of his prayer, who will hear, and what profited him in humbling him? Chapter 35. He that keepeth the law aboundeth in offering, sacrificing, salvation, he that keepeth the commandments. Thou shalt repay thy grace, offering semidil, and he that doeth alms, offering praise. It is the good will of the Lord to turn away from wickedness, and the propitiation to turn away from iniquity. Thou shalt not see emptiness in the face of the Lord, for all these things are for the sake of the commandment. An offering of righteousness anointeth an altar, and its fragrance before the Most High. A righteous man's sacrifice is accepted, and her memorial shall not be forgotten. Glorify the Lord with a good eye, and diminish not the beginning of thy hands. With every gift give gladness to thy countenance, and with gladness sanctify a tenth. Be exalted according to his gift, and with a good eye according to the finding of his hand. For the Lord is a rebuke, and repayeth thee 7 times over. For he shall not receive a bribe, neither shall he make an unjust sacrifice. For the Lord is the judge, and there is no glory of his face. He shall not take a face upon the poor, and hear the supplication of the unjustified. Let not the supplication of an orphan or a widow be overlooked, if he shall shed a word. No widow's tears come down upon the cheek, and the cry upon him that brings them down. He that healeth in good pleasure shall receive, and his supplication shall be sealed unto the clouds. The prayer of the humble cloud has passed, and till it comes near, it shall not be comforted. And he shall not depart until the Most High shall visit, and judge the righteous, and make judgment. And the Lord will not slow down, nor be patient with them, till he break the wedge of the merciless, and revenge on the Gentiles. Until a multitude of revilers shall be lifted up, and the scepter of the unrighteous shall be crushed. Until a man's back, according to his deeds, and the works of men, according to their memorabilia. Until he judges the judgment of his people, and rejoices them in his mercy. Beautiful mercy in the time of his affliction, as clouds in the time of rain. Chapter 36. Have mercy on us, O Master the God of all, and overlook and put thy fear upon all nations. Take up thy hand upon foreign nations, and let them adorn thy power. As thou hast been sanctified in our sight, so thou art magnified in them before us. And let them know thee, as we also know, that there is no God but thee, O Lord. Inaugurate signs, and change wonderfully, glorify the hand and the right arm. I have aroused anger, and poured out wrath, I have stirred up an adversary, and cast out an enemy. Save time, and remember your oaths, and tell of thy wonders. Let him that be saved be devoured with wrath of fire, and they that hurt thy people shall find destruction. Crush the heads of princes of enemies, saying, There is nothing but us. Gather together all the tribes of Jacob, and inherit them as from the beginning. Have mercy on the people, O Lord, who are called in thy name, and Israel whom thou hast likened to the primitive. Build thy city of sanctification, Jerusalem, the place of thy rest. O Zion, make thy virtues rich, and thy people out of thy glory. Give a testimony unto thy creations in the beginning, and I have raised up prophecies which are in thy name. Give a reward to them that endure thee, and let thy prophets trust. Hearken, O Lord, the supplication of thy supplicators according to the blessing of Aaron for thy people. And all that are on the earth shall know that the Lord art the God of ages. Every food is eaten in the belly, but the food of food is better than food. A throat tastes the foci of the game, so a prudent heart is false words. A crooked heart shall give sorrow, and a man of great experience shall repay him. Every male shall be a woman, but a daughter is a daughter of others. A woman's beauty rejoiceth in a face, and surpasses all a man's desire. If there be mercy and gentleness in her tongue, her husband is not a gentleman after the sons of men. A woman that is acquired begins to have a helper according to him, and a pillar of rest. Where there is no barrier, a property shall be plundered, and where there is no woman shall groan in wandering. For who shall believe that a robber is a robber, that is taken from city to city? Thus a man hath not a sickness, and that he shall destroy whom, if he shall see. Chapter 37. Every friend saith, I am also a friend, but he is a friend by name only. There is no sorrow unto death, a partner and a friend that turns to enmity. O wicked remembrance, whence hast thou been wrapped up, to cover the dry land in deceit? A friend's partner shall come with joy, and in a time of tribulation he shall be opposite. A mate of a friend has compassion for the sake of the stomach. He shall receive a shield against war. Thou shalt not forget a friend in thy soul, neither shalt thou remember him in thy money. Every counselor exalteth counsel, but he counseleth unto himself. Keep thy soul from counselor, and know beforehand what he needs, for he shall counsel himself, lest he cast a lot upon thee. And thou shalt say thy way is good, and thou shalt stand on the contrary, to see that which is done unto thee. Take counsel not with him that oversees thee, and hide counsel from them that envy thee. With a woman for her rival, and with a coward for war, with a merchant for change, and with a buyer for a leak, with a tormentor for thanksgiving, and after mercy. He was lonely for goodness, with laziness, for every work, and with a least year, for the end of the house, and for a long work. He did not fall on all counsels. But with a godly man, rebuke him that knoweth the commandments which are in his soul according to thy soul. And if thou shalt trespass, he shall forgive thee. And set up counsel of the heart, for it is not more faithful unto thee than it. For a man recites a soul sometimes, or 7 tunes on a meteor, sitting on a watch. And in all these things pray to the Most High, that he may make thy way accountable in truth. Word is the beginning of every deed, and counsel before every deed. A trace of the corruption of the heart riseth forth 4 parts, good and evil, life and death, and the tongue that dominates them thoroughly is. A man is a master of many, and he is useless in his own soul. He is wise in words, hateful of all food. For grace was not given him by the Lord, for he was deprived of all wisdom. He is wise in his own soul, and the fruits of his understanding are faithful in his mouth. A wise man shall chastise his own people, and the fruits of his understanding faithful. A wise man shall be filled with blessings, and all that see him shall bless him. A man's life in a number of days, and the days of Israel innumerable. A wise man among his people shall inherit faith, and his name shall live on forever. Child, in thy life tempt thy soul, and see what is evil unto it, and give it not unto it. For all things are not profitable, and not every soul is well pleased in all things. Thou shalt not be covetous with all pleasure, neither be poured out upon delicacies. For in many foods there shall be sickness, and greed shall be unto cholera. Many have died because of greed, but he that heareth shall add life. Chapter 38. Honor a physician unto his needs, and the Lord hath created him. For there is healing from the Most High, and a gift shall be received from the King. The wisdom of a physician shall lift up his head, and he shall be admired before the magnates. The Lord hath made medicines out of the earth, and a wise man hath not given them shelter. Water was not sweetened out of wood, that its power might be known. And he gave men knowledge to be glorified in his wonders. In them he healed, and took away his pain, and anointed him. Yet he shall make a mixture, and his work shall not be accomplished, and peace be with him on the face of the earth. Do not overlook your sick child, but please the Lord, and he will heal you. Put away iniquity and accountability of hands, and cleanse your heart from all sin. Thou shalt offer a fragrance, and a memorial of myrrh, and an offering of oil, as if it were not there. and give a physician a place, and the Lord hath created it, and let me not depart from thee, for it is necessary for him. There is a time when there is good in their hands, for they shall also pray to the Lord, that he may bring them rest and healing for the sake of nourishment. He that sinned before him that did it shall fall into the hands of a physician. A child hath brought down tears upon the dead, and as if he had been afflicted with grief, he began to mourn. But according to his judgment cut his body down, and thou shalt not wait for his burial. Cry bitterly, and weep bitterly, and mourn according to its worthiness 1 day or 2, for the sake of the devil, and be comforted for sorrow. For out of sorrow cometh death, and sorrow of heart shall bend mightily. In induction there remains both sorrow, and the life of the poor in heart. Give not thy heart to sorrow, forsake it, remembering the ends. For there is no return, and shalt not profit him, nor hurt thyself. Remember my judgment, for so also thine was yesterday to thee this day. At the resting place of the dead, cease his remembrance, and be comforted in him at the expense of his spirit. The wisdom of a scribe in the occasion of a school, and he that is done by his deed shall be wise. How wise shall he that holds a plough, and boasteth in the spear of the midst of a boa, and turns back in their works, and his narration in the sons of bulls. He shall give his heart to give out a servant, and his watchfulness to the feast of heifers. So every builder and architect, who spendeth night as day, that polisheth seals, and his perseverance to change the variety of his heart, that he may be like a painting, and that his vigil may do a work. Thus he shall sit in the midst of bronze, and have learned the works of iron, and shall melt his flesh with the steam of fire, and in the heat of a furnace shall he quarrel, with the voice of a hammer, and his ears shall bow down, and before the likeness of a vessel his eyes shall give his heart to the end of works, and his watchfulness shall adorn him at the end. Thus a pottery sat in his work, and twisted in the number of his wheels, which is in care forever upon his work, and all his work is numbered. He shall stamp clay in his arm, and bend his heart before his feet, and give him the power of his heart, to accomplish the anointing, and his watchfulness to cleanse the furnace. All these have believed in their hands, and every man is wise in his work. Without them there shall be no city, neither shall they dwell nor walk. But they shall not be sought in the council of the people, and in the church they shall not be overwhelmed by the foolishness of a judge. They shall not sit, and they shall not conceive of a covenant of judgment. Neither shall they manifest chastity nor judgment, and they shall not be found in parables, but shall sustain an everlasting creature, and their supplication in the work of art. Chapter 39. But he that lays down his life, and thinketh in the law of the highest, shall seek the wisdom of all the ancients, and shall be occupied with prophecies. The narration of men called, he shall sustain himself, and he shall enter in the turn of parables. He shall seek the secret things of proverbs, and in riddles of parables he shall be reversed. He shall serve in the midst of the magnates, and shall be seen before the rulers. He shall pass through the land of foreign nations, for he has tempted good and evil among men. He shall give his heart to the Lord that hath done it, and he shall pray before the Most High, and open his mouth in prayer, and shall pray for his sins. If the great Lord willeth with the spirit of understanding, he shall be filled with the words of his wisdom, and confess the Lord in prayer. He directeth his counsel and knowledge, and in his secrets he shall conceive. He shall manifest the discipline of his teaching, and in the law of the covenant of the Lord he shall boast. Many will praise his understanding, and his name shall not be blotted out forever, neither shall his memorial be departed, and his name shall live on for generations. His wisdom shall be declared by the Gentiles, and his praise shall be proclaimed by the church. If he persisteth a name, he shall forsake 1,000, and if he rest, he shall dispose of him. Yet I will tell my mind, and as a discord I am fulfilled. Hear me, ye holy children, and sprout like a path that groweth on a wet water. And as frankincense ye shall be fragrant with perfume, and blossom as a lily. Let forth a fragrance, and praise a song. Bless the Lord in all works. Give his name greatness, and confess in praise of him, in the tears of the lips, and in the breasts. So say ye in confession. all the works of the Lord, that all the works of the Lord shall be very good, and every commandment in his time, is not to say what this is, for what this thing shall be asked for all things shall be sought in his time. In his word there was as a fountain of water, and in the mouth of his mouth was a fountain of water. All good will is in his commandment, and there is no one that diminishes his salvation. The works of all flesh are before him, and there is nothing to hide from his eyes. From time to time he is looked, and there is no wonder against him. It is not to be said what this is for all things are created for their need. His blessing hath covered him as a river, and as a flood he hath drunk dry. Thus shall he inherit his wrath among the nations, as he hath turned waters into a brine. His ways are straight to the holy ones, so to the wicked ones. Good things are created to the good from the beginning, so evil is to sinners. The beginning of all necessity in man's life, water and fire and iron and salt and fire and milk and honey, blood of grapes and oil and garment. All these things unto the godly unto good things, so shall he turn to evil unto sinners. There are spirits that are created for vengeance, and in his anger he has established their scourges in the time of completion. They pour out power, and the wrath of him that made them weary. Fire and hail, and famine, and death, all these things are created for vengeance. Thou hast the teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, and thou hast also avenged the wicked to destruction. By his commandment they shall rejoice, and on earth they shall be prepared for need, and in their times they shall not break the word. Wherefore I was from the beginning founded, and understood, and in the scriptures I left. The works of the Lord are all good, and every need he shall give in its hour. And this is not to say, more wicked, for all things shall prosper in due time. And now with all your heart and mouth praise and bless the name of the Lord. Chapter 40. A great unrest shall be created for every man, and a heavy yoke shall be made upon the sons of Adam, from the day they come out of their mother's womb, until the day of their return to the mother of all. Their thoughts, and the fear of the heart, the expectation of the day of death. From him that sits on a glorious throne, and unto humble himself in the earth and in the dust. From him that weareth a robe, and a crown, and unto him that is clothed anger and zeal and tumult, and fear of death, and menium, and more. And in the time of rest in the bed, a night's sleep altereth the knowledge of it. Little as he rested, and from him in sleep, as in daytime, watched, troubled in the sight of his heart, as if he had fled from the face of war. In his time of need, he arose up and marveled at no fear. With all flesh, from man to beast, and to sinners, 7 times as much as these things. Death and blood, and sword, famine and destruction and scourge. All these things were built upon the wicked, and the flood was made for them. All that he turns from earth to earth, and from waters to sea he recovers. All gifts and unrighteousness shall be blotted out, and faith shall be established forever. The money of the unrighteous shall be dried up like a river, and like great thunder it shall burst forth in the year. And when he opens his hand he shall rejoice, so shall they that transgress to the end perish. The offspring of the wicked does not multiply branches, and the unclean are rooted upon the edge of a stone. Not on every water, and on every river's edge, it shall be poured out before every grass. Grace as a paradise in blessings and alms endures forever. The life of the self-sufficient and of the workman shall be sweetened, and for both he that findeth treasure. Children and the building of a city shall sustain a name, and for both a woman shall be reckoned without blemish. Wine and music rejoice in the heart, and above both the love of wisdom. A court and a psalter may be members, and for both tongues are deeds. An eye shall desire grace and beauty, and more than both grass of seed. Friend and partner in due time, answering, and for both women and husbands. Brethren, and help in times of tribulation, and alms for both shall be given. Gold and silver shall stand in the foot, and counsel prospereth for both. Money and power shall lift up the heart, and for both the fear of the Lord is not diminishing in the fear of the Lord, neither is it to seek help in him. The fear of the Lord as a paradise of blessing, and above all glory hath covered him. A child shall not live a life of demand, or die more, or beg to beg. A man who sees a stranger at the table, His life is not in the thought of life, and his soul shall be kept in the bundles of others. But a man of science and discipline shall be kept on his guard. In the mouth of a man of shamelessness shall be sweetened, and fire shall burn in his belly. Chapter 41. O death, as bitter is thy memorial to a man who is at peace in all that is there, a man who is undistracted, and prosperous in all things, and yet able to receive food. O good death, thy judgment is a man that is swearing, and that is weakened, and that is weak, and that is weak, that is of the last age, and that is circumscribed over all, and that disobeys and loses patience. Remember not the pious judgment of death. Remember before thee, and of the last. This judgment of the Lord is of all flesh, and what it doeth in the pleasure of the Most High, whether 10 or 100 or 1,000 years, there is no proof of life in Hades. Abominable children become children of sinners, and associate with the flocks of the wicked. The inheritance of the children of sinners perisheth, and with their seed there is utter reproach. An ungodly father shall reproach his children, for his sake they shall be reproached. Woe unto you, ungodly men, who forsake the law of the Most High God. And if ye be born into cursing, ye shall be born, and if ye die, ye shall be divided into cursing. Everything that shall go from the earth to the earth is thus ungodly from curse to destruction. The mourning of men in their bodies, but the name of sinners shall not be blotted out. Take care of this name, for 1,000 great treasures of gold abide in thee. The number of days of a good life, and a good name endureth forever. Maintain discipline in peace, children, but wisdom is hidden, and treasure is invisible, which is profit in both. More man hideth his foolishness, or man conceals his wisdom. Be ashamed of my word, for not all shame is to preserve good, and not all prosper in faith. Be ashamed of father and mother for fornication, and of ruler and oppressor for falsehood. From the judge and the ruler for trespasses, and from the synagogue and the people for iniquity. From a fellow and a friend for unrighteousness, and from a place where you sojourn for theft. From the truth of God, and from the covenant, and from the coagulation of the elbow upon the loaves. From scorching, receiving, and giving, and from kissing for silence. From the sight of a courtesan's wife, and from the revulsion of a kinsman. From the taking away of portion and dose, and from the understanding of a husband's wife. Out of curiosity of his child, and believe not in her bed. From friends for words of reproach, and after he had given he did not reproach. From secondment, and from hearing, and from covering secret words. And thou shalt be truly ashamed, and find favor in the sight of every man. Chapter 42. Be not ashamed of these things, neither take the face of sin. By the law of the highest, and by the covenant, and by judgment, to justify the wicked. For the word of the partaker, and for the wayfarers, and for the giving of an inheritance of partners. Concerning the accuracy of the yoke and the weights, and the possession of many and few. For the various deeds of merchants, and for the discipline of many children, and for the wicked side of the house. A good seal is upon an evil woman, and where many hands shut, which thou shalt deliver in number, and in measure, and giving, and in all, in the Scriptures. For the chastisement of the foolish, and of old age, judged unto the young. And thou art truly chastened, and tested before every living thing. A daughter of a father's secret watch, and her care, let her sleep in her youth, lest she should ever decline, and her companionship should ever be hated. That she should never be defiled in virginity, and that she should be pregnant with a husband in her father's wife, lest she ever transgress, and that she should never be sterilized. Establish a prison for an unshakable daughter, lest she make thee a slanderous sword in the city, and an appeal of the people, and put thee to shame in the multitude of many. Let not every man interfere with any goodness, and sit not in the midst of women. For out of garments proceedeth thee, and from the wickedness of a woman. A man who does good is more wicked, and a woman who is ashamed unto reproach. But I will remember the works of the Lord, and what I have seen, I will tell his works in the words of the Lord. The sun shining upon all things, and looked upon his work, and was full of the glory of the Lord. He did not fail to declare unto the saints of the Lord all his wonders, which the Lord Almighty had established, that all things might be sustained in his glory. He searched for the abyss and the heart, and in their cunning he understood all knowledge. For the Most High did know all knowledge, and looked to the sign of an age, reciting the things that are past, and the things that are to come, and revealing the traces of the secrets. No mind hath passed away from him, neither did he hide from him, nor a word. The greatness of his wisdom he adorned as it was before the age, and forever it was neither added nor diluted, and no counselor was appointed. As all his works are desirable, and as a spark he is to behold. All these things he lives, and abides forever, in all necessities, and obeys all things. Every two was one against the one, and he did not make anything left. In one of them he has established good things, and who shall be filled with his glory and sight. Chapter 43. A crown of height, a firmament of cleanliness, a kind of heaven in a vision of glory. The sun in a vision, proclaiming at the Exodus a wondrous vessel, the work of the Most High. In his midday he dries up the land, and against his burn who shall stand? A furnace of winds in works of burning 3 times as much, the sun of the hot mountains, the mountains of the steam, the fiery blows and the shining rays blacken the eyes. A great Lord that made him, and hastened his way in his words, and the moon in all its times is a manifestation of years, and a sign of an age. From the moon a sign of the feast, a light diminishing at the end. Not according to her name is there a wonderfully growing shelter of interferences in the heights, in the firmament of heaven, shining forth. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, the world that shineth in the highest of the Lord. In the words of the Holy One, they shall stand in judgment, and shall not be cast in their prisons. Behold, bow and bless him that made it exceedingly beautiful in his body. He went round about heaven in a circle of glory. The hands of the Most High stretched him out. By his commandment he hast made snow, and quickens the lightnings of his judgment. Wherefore treasures were opened, and clouds flew forth like fowls. In his majesty clouds came forth, and hailstones were scattered. And in his vision a mountain shall be shaken. In his will the south shall blow. With the voice of his thunder he reproached the earth, and the storm of the north, and the twisting of the spirit. As fowls flutter all the snow, and as the descent of her descent is the beauty of her whiteness, the eye shall marvel, and upon her egg shall the heart set forth. And dew as all things on the earth poureth down, and freezeth it becomes a slope of the edge. A cold north wind shall blow, and a crystal shall be frozen in the water. It shall destroy every synagogue of water, and it shall clothe the water as a breastplate. A mountain shall be devoured, and a wilderness shall burn, and shall quench grass as a fire. Healing all things according to haste, the mist, the dew that answereth from the heat shall rejoice. By his thought he cut through the abyss, and planted islands in it. They that sail the sea tell of the danger thereof, and we marvel at the hearers of our ears. And there are the strange and marvelous works, the variety of all living creatures, the creation of cetaceans. For him his angel bringeth fruit, and by his word all things are made up. We say many things, and do not come, and the end of words is all that he is. Glorifying that we may be strong, for he, the great, is greater than all his works. A terrible Lord, and exceedingly great and marvelous is his kingdom. Glorify the Lord, exalt ye as much as ye can, for more and more, and exalting him, multiply him in might, labor not, for do not come. Who has seen him and will tell him, and who will magnify him as he is? Many secret things are greater than these, for we have seen his works. For the Lord hath made all things, and hath given wisdom unto the godly. Chapter 44. But let us praise glorious men, and our fathers at birth. The Lord hath created great glory in his greatness from time immemorial, sovereigns in their kingdoms, and men called mighty, counseling in their understanding, preaching in prophecies. Leaders of the people in deliberations, and in the understanding of the literature of the people, wise words in their instruction, seeking members of musicians, and recounting epics in the scriptures, rich men who have been granted power, making peace in their dwellings. All these were glorified from generation to generation, and rejoiced in their days. Among them who have left the name of praise to speak, and they are of whom there is no memorial, and perished as they did not exist, and became as not events, and their children with them. But these men of mercy, whose righteousness was not forgotten, with their seed dwelleth a good inheritance of their offspring. In the covenant stood their seed, and their children for them. Their seed remains forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, and their names live on for generations. Their wisdom shall be told by the peoples, and the praise shall be proclaimed by the church. Enoch was pleased with the Lord, and was transferred to the generations as an example of repentance. Noah was found to be perfectly righteous. In a time of wrath there was a reward. For this there was a remnant of the earth, when there was a flood. Covenants and ages were laid unto him, that all flesh might not be destroyed by a flood. Abraham was the great father of a multitude of nations, and was not found like in glory. He that keepeth the law of the Most High, and was made in covenant with him in his flesh, hath made a covenant, and was found faithful in temptation. Wherefore he hath set him up in an oath, that the nations should be blessed with his seed, that he should multiply him as the dust of the earth, and as the stars, to lift up his seed, and to inherit them from sea to sea, and from river to the end of the earth. And in Isaac he thus set up his father for Abraham's sake. For the blessing of all men, and for the covenant, he rested in the head of Jacob, and knew him with his blessings, and gave him an inheritance, and divided his portions into tribes, and divided 12 of them. Chapter 45. And he brought forth out of him a man of mercy, finding grace in the eyes of all flesh, loved by God and men, Moses, whose memorial service is in blessings. He made him like the glory of saints, and magnified him in the fears of enemies. In his words he ceased signs, and glorified him in the face of kings, commanded him to his people, and shewed him his glory. In faith and meekness he sanctified him, and chose him out of all flesh. And he heard his voice, and brought him into the darkness, and gave him a commandment according to his face, a law of life and science, to teach Jacob the covenant and his judgments Israel. Aaron exalted a saint like himself, his brother of the tribe of Levi. He set him up a covenant forever, and gave him the priesthood of the people, and blessed him with worldliness, and girded him with a restraint of glory. He clothed him with the end of boasting, and fastened him with vessels of power, a girdle and a leg, and an epaulet. And he surrounded him with golden bells, many round about, that a voice might be heard in his footsteps, that they had heard in the temple for the remembrance of the sons of his people. A holy robe, of gold, and of acorn, and of purple, of a work of various words, of judgment, of declarations of truth, a grain of grain, the work of a craftsman. Precious stones, a seal, in the binding of gold, a stone worker's work, for a memorial, in a scripture enclosed according to the number of the tribes of Israel, a golden wreath upon a cider, an imprint of a seal of holy water, a boast of honor, a work of power, lusts of the eyes adorned. Such things were not true before him, for in age he clothed no other man except his sons, and his offspring forever. His sacrifices shall be fully fruited every day twice. And Moses filled the hands of Moses, and anointed him with holy oil. And it became unto him a covenant forever, and with his seed in the days of heaven to serve him, and to serve and bless his people in the name of heaven. Thou hast chosen him out of every living man, to bring forth fruit unto the Lord, incense and fragrance, to be atoned for thy people in remembrance. He gave him authority in his commandments, in the covenants of judgment, to teach Jacob the testimonies, and to enlighten Israel in his law. Strangers came to him, and envied him in the wilderness by men of Dathan and Abiram, and the synagogue of Korah in anger and wrath. The Lord saw, and was not pleased, and they were accomplished in the wrath of wrath. He hath made wonders unto them, consuming him with his fire. And Aaron added glory, and gave him an inheritance, and divided unto him bread, and prepared an abundance first. For the sacrifice of the Lord shall be eaten, which he hath given to him, and to his seed. But in the land of the people he shall not inherit, and there is no portion unto him among the people, for he shall not inherit thy portion and inheritance. And Phinehas the son of Eleazar the third to glory, to be jealous of him in the fear of the Lord, and to set him up in the manner of a people, in the goodness of his soul, and atoned for Israel. Wherefore it was made unto him a covenant of peace, to protect his saints and his people, that he and his seed of the priesthood might have greatness for ever and ever. And the covenant of David, the son of Jesse of the tribe of Judah, the inheritance of a king's son of the only son, the inheritance of Aaron and his seed. Give unto you wisdom in your hearts, to judge his people in righteousness, that their good things and their glory may not perish unto their generations. Chapter 46. Joshua mighty in war, and Moses the successor in prophecies, which were made in his name, great for his salvation, to avenge his enemies that were raised up, that he might inherit Israel, as he was glorified in his hands, and in stretching out his sword against cities. Who was before him was thus the wars of the Lord he went. Not in his hand did the sun set forth, and one day it became 2:00. He called upon the Most High oppressor in his affliction, the enemies round about, and the great Lord heard him in the stones of hail of mighty power. He destroyed war against a nation, and in the descent he destroyed the strong, that the nations might know his armor, that his war was against the Lord. For he followed after the oppressor, and in the days of Moses he had mercy, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh to resist against the church, to turn the people away from sin, and to stop the murmuring of wickedness. And these two were saved by 600,000 infantry, to bring into the land of milk and honey as an inheritance. And the Lord gave Caleb strength, and he remained unto old age, to ride him on the height of the earth, and his seed he seized an inheritance. That all the children of Israel may see that it is good to walk after the Lord, and the judges every one by his own name, of those whose heart hath not committed fornication, and of those who hath not turned away from the Lord, let their remembrance be with blessings. Their bones are unbroken from their place, and their names are redeemed for their glorified sons. Samuel, beloved by his Lord, made a prophet of the Lord and anointed a prince over his people. By the law of the Lord he judged a synagogue, and the Lord visited Jacob. By his faith he was made a prophet, and was known by his words a faithful vision. And he called upon the Lord the oppressor, in affliction for his enemies, round about in the offering of the Lamb of Galathin. And the Lord thundered out of heaven, and with a great sound he made his voice heard. And he cast out the rulers of Tyre, and all the princes of Philistim. And before the time of his dormition he bore witness before the Lord and his Christ money, and even shoes of all flesh. Neither did I receive, nor did any man call upon him. And when he had slept he prophesied, and shewed his death as king, and lifted up his voice from the earth in prophecy, to blot out the iniquity of the people. Chapter 47. And after this Nathan arose to prophesy in the days of David. As a seed is excommunicated from salvation, so David is from the children of Israel. He played in lions as in goats, and in bears as in the lambing of sheep. In his youth he slew not a giant, and took out a reproach from the people, in which he set his hand on the stone of a sling, and brought down the horn of Goliath. For he called upon the Most High Lord, and gave at his right hand a power of exalted man, who was able to lift up the horns of his people in war. Thus they glorified him in myriads, and blessed him with the blessings of the Lord, that they might bring him a diadem of glory. For he drove out enemies round about, and Philistim destroyed their adversaries. Even to this day he broke their horns. In all his work he gave a confession of the holy, the highest word of glory. In all his heart he praised and loved him that made it. And he set up chanters before the altar, and by the sound of them the members were sweetened. He gave dignity in feasts, and adorned his holy name in times unto the end, in praising them his holy name, and in the morning the holy water should be heard. The Lord forgave his sins, and lifted up his horn forever, and gave him a covenant of kings, and a throne of glory in Israel. After this the son of a scientist arose, and for his sake he sat down in breadth. Solomon reigned in the days of peace, which God rested round about, to set up a house in his name, and to prepare holy water forever. As thou hast been wise in thy youth, and hast been filled as a river of understanding. Thy soul hath covered the earth, and thou hast filled it with riddles of riddles. Thy name hath come to the islands far off, and hast been loved in thy peace. In songs, and proverbs, and parables, and in interpretations they have delighted thee. In the name of the Lord God, the summoned God of Israel, thou hast gathered together gold as tin, and multiplied silver as lead. Thou hast bowed down thy loins, women, and hast been in power in thy body. Thou hast given a womb in thy glory, and hast profaned thy seed to bring wrath upon thy children, and to be blessed upon thy foolishness, to be without tyranny, and from Ephraim to begin a kingdom of disobedience. But the Lord shall not forsake his mercy, neither shall he corrupt by his words, nor destroy the elect. He bore his seed, and the seed of him that loved him did not bring him out, and gave Jacob a remnant, and David was taken out of him. And Solomon rested with his fathers, and left with him foolishness out of the seed of his people, and Rehoboam, who sent a people out of his counsel, was wise. And Jeroboam the son of Nabat, who sinned against Israel, and gave Ephraim a way of sin, and their sins were greatly increased, to turn them away from their land. And they sought all wickedness, until vengeance should come upon them. Chapter 48. And Elijah the prophet arose like fire, and his word burned like a lamp, who brought famine upon them, and by his zeal diminished them. By the word of the Lord he hath ascended heaven, and thus brought down 3 fires. As thou hast been glorified, Elijah, in thy wonders, and who is like thee to boast? Who raised up a dead man out of death, and out of hell in the word of the Most High. He who brought down kings to perdition, and glorified from their beds. Hearing in Sinai reproof, and judgments of vengeance in Horeb. Creon kings to repentance, and prophets to succeed after him. He that was taken up in a whirlwind of fire, in a chariot of fiery horses. He that hath recorded in reproving at times to cease wrath before anger, to turn the heart of the Father unto the Son, and to make tribes of Jacob. Blessed are they that have seen thee, and they that have fallen asleep in love, for we shall also live in life. Elijah that was covered in the storm, and Elisha was filled with his spirit. And in his days he was not moved by a prince, neither did any man oppress him. Not every word overcame him, and in his sleep prophesied his body. And in his life he hath done wonders, and in the last his works are wonderful. In all these things the people did not repent, neither did they depart from their sins, until they were deprived of their land, and were scattered throughout all the earth. And the people were left few, and rulers in the house of David, some of them did what was pleasing, and some of them multiplied their sins. Hezekiah fortified his city, and brought water into the midst of it, and dug an iron rod, and built fountains into the waters. In his days Sennacherib went up, and sent Rapsas, and took him, and took his hand over Zion, and rejoiced in his pride. Then their hearts and hands were moved, and they rejoiced as they were. And they called upon the Lord the Merciful, and threw out their hands unto him, and the Holy One from heaven quickly heard them, and delivered them by the hand of Isaiah. He struck down the interference of the Assyrians, and his angel cast them out. For Hezekiah did what was pleasing to the Lord, and strengthened in the ways of David his father, which Isaiah the great and faithful prophet commanded in his sight. In his days the sun blew up, and added life to a king. With a great spirit he saw the ends, and exhorted them that mourned in Zion, until ever he hath shewed the things that are to be, and the secret things, before they came to pass. Chapter 49. Memorial of Joshua in the composition of incense, prepared with the work of myrrh in every mouth, as honey shall be sweetened, and as music in a wine feast. He went to the return of the people, and cast out the abominations of iniquity. He directed his heart unto the Lord. In the days of iniquity he prevailed over godliness. Besides David and Hezekiah and Joshua, they all committed a fault, for the kings of Judah perished the law of the Most High. For they have given their horn to others, and their glory to a foreign nation. They burned up a chosen city of holy water, and made the streets thereof desolate. For in the hand of Jeremiah they wounded him, and he was sanctified in the womb a prophet. They judge, and evil, and destroy, likewise to build and plant. Ezekiel, who saw a vision of glory, which he showed him on a chariot of cherubs. For he remembered the enemies in the rain, and made good those who set the way. And the bones of the 12 prophets, unburied from their place, beseeched Jacob, and redeemed them by faith of hope. How shall we magnify Zerubbabel also as a seal on the right hand? So Jesus the son of Joseph, who in their days built a house, and built up a temple of the Holy Lord, prepared for the glory of ever, and Nehemiah for a long time in the remembrance of him who raised up for us fallen walls, and set up gates and bars, and erected our dwellings. No one was created on the earth such as Enoch, for he was taken up from the earth. Nor was Joseph born a man who was an abbot of brethren, a support of the people, and his bones were visited. And Seth were glorified among men, and above all living things in the creation of Adam. Chapter 50. Simon the son of Onias, the great priest, who in his life sowed a house, and in his days established a temple, and by him was founded the height of a double elevation, a high temple enclosure. In his days there was a fountain of waters, a pit like a sea, the circumference of the sea. He that keepsaketh his people from the fall, and strengthened the city in siege, as he was glorified in the rotation of the people, in the outward appearance of a house veil. As an evening star in the midst of clouds, as a moon full in days, as the sun shineth upon the temple of the Most High, and as a bough that shineth in the clouds of glory, as a flower of roses in the days of the new, as a lily in the days of the water, as a sprout of the Lebanon in the days of summer, as fire and frankincense against Pyrea, as a vessel of gold, full forged, adorned with every stone, it is luxurious, as an olive that rejuvenates fruit, and as a cypress tree that rises in the clouds. And when he took up the garment of glory and put on him, the end of boasting at the ascent of the altar of a holy one, glorified the garment of holy water. And when he was receiving members out of the hands of the priests, he also stood by a grated altar, round about him as a crown of brethren, like a sapling of cedars in Lebanon, and they surrounded him as the stems of palm trees. And all the children of Aaron in their glory, and the offering of the Lord in their hands before all the church of Israel, and the end of ministers on altars to adorn the offering of the Most High Almighty. He stretched out his hand upon the libation, and sprinkled out of the blood of grapes, and poured out upon the foundations of the altar the fragrance of the Most High King. Then the sons of Aaron cried out with a trumpet, and they heard a loud voice, in remembrance before the Most High. Then all the people came together and fell on their faces on the earth to worship their Lord God Almighty. And the psalmists sang in their voices, and with a greater sound, a member was sweetened, and the people of the Most High prayed in prayer before the Merciful, until the world of the Lord was finished, and finished its ministry. Then he went down, and took his hands upon all the church of the children of Israel, to give the blessing of the Lord from his lips, and to boast in his name. And they went here in worship to receive the blessing of the Most High. And now bless the God of all, who does great things, who exalteth all our days from the womb, and do with us according to his mercy. Give us gladness of heart, and that there may be peace in our days in Israel in the days of ever. Trust in his mercy with us, and in our days let us be redeemed. In 2 nations my soul is fornicated, and the third is not a nation. They that sit on the mount of Samaria and Philistim, and the foolish people that dwell in Sikkim. Education of prudence and science was engraved in this book, by Jesus the son of Sirach Eleazar the Jerusalemite, who breathed wisdom from his heart. Blessed is he that shall be reversed, and the God of these things shall be wise in his heart. For if he doeth these things, he shall be strong unto all, for his footprint is the light of the Lord. Chapter 51. I will confess thee, Lord King, and praise thee, God my Saviour, I confess in thy name. For he hath been a cover and a helper unto me, and I shall deliver my body out of destruction, and out of the snare of the tongue of devil, out of the lips of those who work falsehood. And he hath become a helper before them that stand by, and I will redeem me, according to the abundance of mercy in thy name, out of Brussels, ready for food out of the hand, seeking my soul out of many tribulations which I had, from the drowning of fire round about, and from the midst of the fire, which I have not burned, from the depth of the belly of Hades, and from the tongue of unclean, and of a false word. O King, the devil of the tongue of the unrighteous hath come unto death, my soul hath come near, and my life was near to hell below. They contained me from all sides, and there was no helper to look to the reconciliation of men, and there was no. And I have remembered, O Lord, thy mercy, and thy work forever, for thou delivereth them that endure thee, and deliver them out of the hand of enemies. And I lifted up my supplication from the earth, and supplicated for death. I have called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord, not to forsake me in days of tribulation. In times of pride and helplessness, I will praise thy name thoroughly, and praise thy name in confession. And my supplication was heard, for thou hast delivered me from perdition, and delivered me out of an evil time. Therefore will I confess thee, and praise thee, and bless thee in the name of the Lord. Even when I was younger, before I was deceived, I sought wisdom evidently in my prayer. I am worthy of a temple for her, and I will seek her to the end. My heart rejoiced out of a blossom like a flowering grape. In it entered the one who had been my righteousness from my youth. I bowed my ears a little, and received, and found much discipline in myself. Progress has been done unto me in it, that he that giveth wisdom to me I will give glory. For I have conceived to do it, and have envied what is good, and I will not be ashamed. My soul struggled in it, and in the making of the law I discerned. I lifted up my hands, and mourned her ignorance. I have directed my soul unto it, and in purification I have found this heart. I have acquired it with it from the beginning, therefore I will not forsake it. And my womb was troubled to seek it, therefore I have acquired a good possession. The Lord hath given me a tongue as my reward, and in it I will praise him. Come unto me, uneducated, and wander ye in a house of instruction. For ye say that they are lacking, yet your souls also thirst exceedingly. I have opened my mouth, and have spoken, thou shalt have yourselves without silver. Put your neck under a yoke, and let your soul receive discipline near, to find it. Ye see in your eyes that I have labored a little, and have found in myself much rest. Take part in education in a great number of silver, and ye shall acquire much gold in it. Let your soul rejoice in his mercy, and be not ashamed in his praise. Work ye in your work before the time, and he shall give your reward in his time.